to pay for it.
Is it like is it sound like you was is it something that you're trying to predict the human?
No, it's like
process type thing.
It's more so like, hey man, this shit's broken. Y'all need to fix it. And we ran this test 1,000 times, and out of the 1,000 times, 100 times it did this. And here's like a screenshot of video, and here's a script that ran it, and then you take on fix it. So like, pretty much like why YouTube works, why everything that you use on your phone works, is because somebody like me is like, all right, run the test, and it broke. And why did it break?
Now let me ask you this: that sounds like a simulator. We just running the test like over and over. That is that any different than like true AI? Or like, cause you're just using like a supercomputer to do the same test.
Well,
like, or maybe not a supercomputer, but doesn't AI actually like?
I wouldn't say it's AI. I would just say it's more in the realm of automation. Oh, my bad. We started?
Oh no, it was meant to be organic. Just to let you know where the smoke came from, we are an anti-automation podcast.
There was no smoke.
Real just had to make sure that you wasn't on the. He had to make sure that you wasn't on the wrong side of the conversation. Oh no, I think Tone is pro AI. I want to say. No.
I'm cool with AI, but like.
Oh no, it was Johnny that was saying let's make AI a friend.
Well, it's
automation. My bad. Automation, not friend.
Automation, like simulation. There's certain things I think is helpful too. Just like anything, guns are tools too, and guns can help. They can also kill people, but they can also somebody kicking your door. It helps to have a gun.
Yeah, but I mean,
so same thing with AI. There's certain situations where it's gonna really be helpful to have AI. There's certain situations where people could take advantage of it, but that's just like any other thing.
We just need to hurry up and regulate.
Well, yeah, that's
the thing about it.
Do you agree with like gun regulation? Are you like?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
I fucking think that everybody should get a gun at any point in time. Obviously, regulate that shit. Okay, that's my opinion. I don't know, bro.
Well, I ain't going as far as that, but I don't believe that like niggas should be able to just get assault rifles and just. You know what I mean? That part there, but y'all believe that everybody.
What of what I said did you disagree with?
I thought you were saying that everybody shouldn't be able to get a gun.
Not everybody should be able to get a gun. You think everybody should be?
Well, I mean, not everybody. There should be some.
I think that's.
But it should be limited. Because the thing is, everybody, every adult. I would probably lean closer to everybody needing a gun versus anything.
It's a universal right,
bro.
I would lean closer to that.
More of a universal right.
But the thing is, it's not even the right thing. It's not even the right. It's pretty much to. Everybody should have the means to protect their family. Everybody with the family.
If you are a sound human being,
well, I mean,
I agree with that.
But then where do we measure? Where do we measure how sound you are?
Fuck around and kill your family.
What do we measure how sound you are?
Like, I think that's where the question of regulation comes. But I don't think, again, everybody of any state of mind should be able to have their hands on guns. I don't believe that.
Well, like you said, assault rifles. What's the difference between an assault rifle and a pistol, in your opinion?
So in my opinion, I don't believe in. So I was in the military, so I had my M16. We had burst, and it was a single shot assault rifle, and then we had burst. So the thing is, you never get to shoot in burst. No. And the reason I actually was able to, we went to a range, and my first sergeant was trying to show us why it is that you wouldn't use it.
Yeah, most of the time it's going to jam.
Well, not even that. It's that you're just so fucking inaccurate. It doesn't even make sense. So then if you take that to like AKs and things of that nature, then you're just only trying to kill a lot of things.
Fully automatic.
Yeah, fully. When you go for burst and fully automatic, it's like, okay, I can understand you a single shot assault rifle. But when you start talking about being able to just hold your trigger and mow shit down, because you're not trying. If you're using an AK, it's stupid to use an AK and try to kill one person. Because you're all over the place.
I think it's more so like, I think it's not about regulation. It's like, why do we feel we need guns in the first place? And I think it's born from a place of fear. Like, I don't think you would want a gun if nobody else had one. Like, let's say like the weapon of choice was a bat. And everybody had bats.
I'd rather a gun if you got a bat.
But no, there's like no guns.
Bats. Give me a gun all day.
But like,
I don't think that y'all are actually like going to where the hypothetical is at.
Like there's no guns. There's only bats. Like, would you still have the same opinion? Like, hey man, I need a bat. He had a bat up the street. She has a bat. Like, I think that's.
If everybody had a bat and I didn't have a bat, I would feel naked. I need a bat too. Just like if
right, but that goes to the point. He's talking about like it's just a weapon of choice, and that's the reason why everybody feels that it's a necessity to have it because other people have it. I guess I'm not anti-gun, but that sounds like an anti-gun thing. Where like if nobody has guns, it won't be like a big need for everybody.
So this is the thing: is that everybody's not equally matched. So like, let's say, and I ain't trying. Let's say Johnny wanted to scrap Keith. Keith,
what happened if he scrapped with you?
He's too little. That's the point. So the fact that he's small.
Hey Johnny, how you feel about that?
The fact that he's small. I'm not saying that there aren't some little guys that.
I'm pro weapon. I'm gonna hit you with that, nigga. It's gonna be something.
But it's like,
I better go to sleep. Is all I'm saying.
What's gonna happen if he don't put you to sleep?
Hey, he gonna go.
What your hands gonna do?
It's gonna be dark. It's gonna be dark.
I just feel that.
I ain't scared of you, nigga.
Let's test the theory. Where the chair? Where the chair?
No need to be scared of
Is the chair in here still?
Because like originally, like it was like okay, like Second Amendment was because like we need to keep a well-regulated militia for like tyranny, whatever. But over time, just like all right, like no one's owning a gun in their house to like take up arms against the government, or to like go fight in a war, or to be like a well-prepared militia.
I agree with that.
So it's.
But what about the crazy people out here in the world? You should be able to protect.
But those are the crazy people that don't need guns. That's my point.
But
if
keep the guns from the crazies.
But like I think everybody's pro-gun, but like I don't think anybody's pro like the police having a monopoly on violence, on state violence. So
sure.
And that's pretty much what it comes down.
So I think everybody likes having guns. I think everybody wants to have guns, but I think it's really from a place of fear because like if I don't have this and somebody else up the street has it, then I'm naked. But I think the real problem is like why does everybody feel so alienated to the point that I need to have this?
Yeah, because you ain't heard them stories about Mike Tyson as a young boy walking the streets and beating up them grown men. See, there's the thing in where it's just because with me and you, like, there's physical attributes that you would hold that would allow me to know that, okay, I don't have a win in this.
Yeah.
So in order for me to make sure that you don't take advantage of the fact that you are the equal, you have that structure and that stature that you can take advantage of people, then they need to be able to put you to sleep.
They need to be.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think that's a crazy point to want to have a gun because I am terrified of the person who
has it out of fear.
Yeah, has it out of fear and the idea of that being their manhood. Because that's pretty much what you were saying.
No, that ain't what I was saying.
No, I'm like the basis of that because you're saying that in essence it's the equalizer because of they're not. All right, so. As men, typically, like physical, like your physical attribute is what like the stereotypical like man thing is.
So, but hold on, before you go too far, let's take it into the woman has the gun, and she's the man versus because that's the version of it that is also.
But let's say we'll use that because I mean I think the easier the easier thing is to do like the man, woman, and the female needs the protection and shit like that. Right. Sure.
Or just a little small 120 pound.
Yeah, but to me, I'm not necessarily. I don't think that the most irrational gun violence happens with women. I think it's niggas and egos.
No, I would agree.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, and what you were talking about was like the small Napoleon man being able to equalize himself and being able to. How many times you've heard somebody irrationally talk about going get their gun? Yeah, like it's a real thing in which. To me, that's the ego, that's the man, like the like all that shit. In which a lot of it is based off of the first thing that you said, where it's like I can't do it with my hands, so I got to go find this thing, and I'm like, what the young kids be on right now? Like a lot of them niggas don't want to actually use hands, so like they take the easy route of it.
There's a difference between like lack of ability to and just non-willingness to.
Or when it's actually necessary. Like necessity is doing it
hand on hand versus like, I just don't want to fight. I'm going to just go grab the gun.
Exactly.
Like, there's certain big 300-pounders like Shaq. I'm not fighting Shaq.
Exactly.
But like,
respect that man's face.
But like,
no, but what if you come over and they just want to put his hand on your head, just you know what I mean? Nigga,
you gonna kill him because of that?
No. What I'm saying, no, it's not.
So what we saying?
No. What it is that the idea of that someone that is of that stature taking advantage of the fact that taking advantage of you because he knows. You ain't never heard.
But you don't think that he's gonna do that like that, like, I don't think that people, if you just put your hand on a man's head like that, warrants somebody shooting you. And I don't think people go to shooting you off of that anyway.
No, what I would say is that, like, see, the way I was thinking about it is that you're putting your hand on my head because of the fact that I'm small. So you're really bullying. You're trying to be a bully.
People be getting bullied.
So at the end of the day, I'm not saying that you should kill every bully, but I believe that if I don't agree with bullying at all.
Hey, real, as a little nigga, I'm
Go ahead,
little nigga in here.
Yeah.
Like, as a little nigga, it's about the respect thing. It's like if I say don't do that, and then you still choose to do it, it's like
you gonna shoot him.
Nah, I ain't gonna shoot him, but we gotta up the ante, and like I'm gonna move. And if you still try to like cross that line,
I'm gonna let you know I got it on.
Then it's like, okay, bro, look, you just trying to push it, but like, just because I ain't never been bullied. You ain't just gonna. I don't care who.
But like, where do y'all?
You ain't just gonna push me around.
Where do y'all think this conflict comes from? Because like, I'm listening to y'all talking. It's like there's obviously a beginning of conflict that we're kind of just all feeling the reverberations of, that we have to, like, I need a gun or I need to whoop somebody's ass. But like, like even in this room, like there's all men, we all relatively know each other to some degree, but like I don't feel like I need to have anything or I need to like have a contingency plan to whoop somebody's ass. But like,
well, to me, I think the antecedent is fear.
But where does that feeling of like, oh, I'm good here, I'm chilling, and then where does that kind of expand into like, no, I'm not chilling. Like there is a conflict here, and I need to have an equalizer. I need to like emasculate somebody.
I'll tell you this: a lot of it comes to like a lot of us like intellectually on a certain level, so we're not gonna let it get there because we all understand. But you get in certain spaces,
unfamiliarity,
then you get in spaces where like it's communication. You might not be understanding how I'm communicating. I might not understand how you communicating,
and that's what I think it is.
In certain spaces, but I think that's where it comes from.
I think it's ego. Like you had these groups, or you have certain men who just have high egos.
Before we get too deep into it, let me go ahead and tell everybody welcome back to the 2B Fair Show. I am your host, Johnny P.
Over here, real.
It's cute.
And we back.
I was trying to catch.
Hey, I think that we ended at like a great spot. Ego. I don't know what everybody else is doing on Friday, but I know the internet was ablaze. There was a semi diss track that dropped, where a couple rappers was inside their egos, or not in their egos, or felt some kind of way about some different things. What am I talking about, Johnny?
I mean, you gotta be talking about your boy Kendrick.
Who he had smoke with.
Future Mad.
Oh yeah, it's a tree of shit that's happening.
Yeah, Metro Boomin.
It is Drake and J. Cole on one side. They apparently it's a woman involved, and she thick, of course, like light skin thick. You know the aesthetic, and apparently she's involved in this beef.
Who is she? So I'm lost.
Yeah, I never heard.
Apparently Drake and Future and Metro are beefing over a woman. They got the pictures going.
He talking about the other beef, not the one we care about.
Oh, but it's the same beef because it's all on one track. It's all on one track.
But we only care. I personally only care about the big three beef.
The Kendrick beef, I'm building for that.
Oh my bad, I stepped on you. I stepped on you. My bad.
That's the main cause. You gotta have opening fights. But yeah, I mean Kendrick. I don't even understand why Kendrick was so mad. I can understand fight over chick lease, but like Kendrick was mad
trash.
Because them niggas said that it was the big three.
I don't think that's why he was mad. I guess if I was to like run down, like there's been a bunch of like breakdowns of it. One, Kendrick always had smoke for Drake.
I get that.
Like so that's not like a newer thing.
I get the Drake shit.
And
why? Hold on. I don't. Why does Kendrick always have smoke for Drake?
I don't know, but this has been like since like 2014.
I mean, to sum it up, because Kendrick's, I mean, low key kind of ungrateful, but that's just my
Oh, okay, so we might be on the same page here.
Is that what you're talking about?
Well, like,
you said Kendrick something.
And you saying
like,
Drake gave him the handout?
Well, like,
that's why he's him. Drake made him.
Like, if you thinking like all the way back to like 2011 when I heard Kendrick Lamar, first time I heard Kendrick Lamar was like he was like some feature on like the Take Care album, and I'm like, This is garbage. Who is this dude?
Oh man. Oh man.
Why is he on tour with Drake now? Like, no, I'm just being. I'm a big Kendrick Lamar fan, but like, if I'm being honest, the first time I heard Kendrick, it was like that. The first time I heard
that wasn't my first time hearing.
Yeah, if the first song you heard was Drake, then that's a different.
The first time I heard him was
Section 80.
Section 80, yeah.
But like, I'm just like this. Me like this hearing Kendrick for the first time, like, wow, this is garbage. Like, get this man off the album. Like, this is the worst part of the album. And then for him to go on tour, it's like, what is he, like an industry plant? And then fast
You took all of that.
yeah, like I'm telling like when I first heard Kendrick, like it was like, wow, like why is he on here? But then you fast forward and it's like, okay, he's saying something. All right, I actually like this dude. I actually like him more than Drake. But like, I'm being honest with you.
When
like,
you start liking him more than Drake, what album was it?
I would say like when like it was like 2012, 2013, and like everybody was playing Good Kid, Mad City, and it was inescapable.
So Good Kid, Mad City.
Oh, you
That's like,
converted early.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's a quick
That was an early conversion.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like if I'm gonna be honest, like if it wasn't
Good Kid, Mad
yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. If it wasn't for Drake, I would have never known who Kendrick Lamar is.
But you would have still heard Good Kid, Mad City.
It wouldn't have made it.
It still would have heard it.
Yeah, I don't think that Drake made Kendrick.
No, I don't think that's accurate to say, but I do think that like there's a certain amount of resentment that Kendrick harbors towards Drake for even that being a notion that people could think of. But
I think of what album was Poetic Justice on? That was Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's kind of where it started from because that song, I think he had better songs on that album, but that was like one of the bigger songs. And it was just because it had Drake on it.
I think
he had way better songs.
I think Mad City was probably like that was like everywhere at one point.
What?
Mad City, like like
all the white
kids at the festival.
Oh yeah, like
that was their favorite.
That was the biggest song, like performance wise for sure. Is that the Rules and Crips all got along?
Yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that and then Backseat Freestyle. Those are the two biggest. Whenever like I seen him perform at. We're talking about like biggest songs. Like if he was to play it at a festival, when I've seen him perform, I've seen him at Duke campus, and those were the two. And actually, Cartoons and Cereal, if y'all familiar with that.
Yeah.
Those were the three that actually went off the most.
Oh yeah, festival.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah, it is.
Festival music different than in the car music. It's just there's two different.
I want to get back on the take on this though. Just so I'm just gonna say what I think, just straight up. When I first heard that he had did this disc, before I even listened to the track, I was kind of like, it seems like every time Kendrick come out, he has to use somebody else. Like you get disappearing for a long time, then you just diss somebody to be relevant again, and that kind of is corny to me. Like you didn't disappear for a long time, and then you come. When did he just drop? The album was a while ago, so it's like a year. Yeah. So I'm like, what I'm saying is he did.
Mr. Mid in the midst.
Exactly. And even with that album, the reason everybody took
this shit was cold.
Even with the album though, the notification for the album was using other people's faces. Like he had to use other people's faces for a dope ass video in order to. So it kind of becomes a thing of like,
I ain't rolling with that.
I ain't going with it either.
But I mean, he does have like if you talking recently, like
top 5
every time, like
he didn't put anybody inside this last album.
Well, he does leading up to it.
He didn't. Like, all right, so
ain't even just talking about dissing people. I'm like, you got to use other people for clout. So it's like I could have just came out with a song.
But who did he diss in the last album?
I'm not saying. Listen, what I'm saying. I didn't just say this. I said he used other people for clout. So like.
Think about Kendrick's best like shit. Like
why you always gotta time me out?
Controlling Kendrick's best shit?
No, it's like
those are the words he just said. I'm just repeating what he said.
No, I'd say think about the best moments or best shit. Control. You got the BET shit. He has used people to gain clout in big
every time.
Dan
was Big Sean, dog. Like what I'm saying, it's always other people, bro.
Big Sean.
He did Big Sean with Dan, and Dan.
But hold on. All right. So,
Humble was a Big Sean diss, bro.
No, but I feel like
I
understand what you're saying, but it still sounds Stretch Armstrong. Like,
hey, I mean, y'all can say Stretch Armstrong, but
I think so. If you're looking at what Kendrick does, like he really is like kind of like the question I had, like Kendrick really is just like a revamped version of like 50 Cent, and like no, like think about it, like how did 50 Cent get on? Like he did How to Rob. Like every time Kendrick drops an album, the Heart Part 1. It's just like like How to Rob, like 2012, 2018,
the Heart Part
2019.
I remember the Heart Part 2. Like the Heart Part 1 wasn't a dissy.
No, but like it's like every time Kendrick is about to come out.
I see what he's saying as far as strategy wise. Now I think when it comes to music, Kendrick and 50 are totally different.
But like that's the disconnect.
Strategy
wise,
so
I'm gonna take that take. I disagree. I disagree with both of y'all takes. Where he's coming out and dissing people, and that's why his main motive of like push for his album, and that's like his launching of his album. Where Good Kid, Mad City, I don't know who he dissed before that. Section 80, I don't know who he dissed before that. To Pimp a Butterfly, I think maybe that was the controller. And like, if you was a super hip hop head, maybe you.
That's what I'm saying. Recently, like
recently, every time he got to come up with something.
Now, let's stop. Let's stop and just think about this then. Recently, on what is it? The Steppers shit. He didn't diss anybody.
Oh no!
So let me clarify what I just said a second ago.
So who we want to say? We want to say damn, and that's like a stretch.
No. Here's a timeline, right? Here's the timeline. So I think the problem is it's not that Kendrick's dissing people. It goes nowhere. So like he's goofing around with Baby Keem, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna ghostwrite your songs, and then I'm gonna sneak in a diss like I'm smoking on your top 5, and it's like, oh shit, Kendrick about to come out with an album. He's gonna be smoking on top 5, and then you come out with the miss him around the big stuff. It's like, what the fuck is this therapy shit? Like I was promised Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and I'm getting like this bullshit like Sopranos episode, like, and then it's like, okay, all right, cool, like no problem, like.
But you said.
I said what?
You thought that shit.
I know. So let me make an interjection really quick. So my first interjection would be Drake, J. Cole. If we just take those two, every freestyle that they drop, I'm the best, I'm the greatest. Mm-hmm. Like tell another rapper if they want some, hop on the feature. Like it's like the braggadocious. Y'all niggas can't fuck with me. Take it, and you can pitch together a bunch of sneak disses within that. Exists with all of them. Like this wouldn't even be like a specifically Kendrick thing. But like so right now.
No, okay.
That wasn't my point. I was saying that he has to use somebody else every time in order to promote the album. I said like the face thing happened with that album with the.
What happened with Damn? What happened with
Damn? He just. Humble was a Big Sean diss. That's what I'm saying. That was the lead track. Humble came out. This nigga disappeared, and then come out with Humble as a diss track, and then doggone, hey, instant dog. I'm not saying. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying he a bad rapper or nothing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he has to use people for clout every time.
All right. So let me ask this question: do you think that the average consumer, or like outside of if you really went and like dissected the boys inside the Be Humble shit, took that as a diss?
I did.
I think you had to be inside the hip hop crates to even care about that.
But a lot of people did know. That's the whole thing.
But then you can go with J. Cole and fucking Drake. Pretty much every album rolled out includes a diss. If you just want to go that, like,
bro.
And I can go with every like.
So Cole been giving shout outs. That's all I've been seeing. Cole been showing love.
Every nigga they can't fuck with.
Exactly.
That nigga had a whole diss track to Lil Pump on his album.
That made sense. Like,
all right, so now here's what it is. There's a line where like, in order to enjoy Kendrick Lamar's like music, it's like, oh, this is introspective. Like he was like gone and making bicycles and shit. Now he came back. He's a changed person, and it's like, okay, like this is a trash album, but like if I'm listening to it for what it is, like it's just introspective.
Hold on. How was the album trash? Why was the trash? Why was it trash?
Like, it's like, okay, the reason why.
What album we saying trash?
He talking about the
around the mid steps.
So like the reason why I say it's like
if he had one on it, he had 3 tracks.
In order to enjoy it, you have to like, okay, like this is
a great project.
Thematically, this is Kendrick Lamar going to therapy, and this is him growing as a person. So if you're taking it as that, it's like, okay, I can see the growth, but like, there's no hits, there's no bangers, like.
I like the Kodak Black jump.
The Kodak Black jumps too. I mean, straight.
But like, if
you wild and live with that.
But like, here's the thing. So like,
you can't really. So you telling me that in order for an album to be hard?
No,
hold on. I got a question. So you're saying in order for an album to be hard, it has to have like a hit song on it?
No, it's like
if you have to be really good.
But so you're telling me the writing in the album was not good? The stories that he was telling, those are great stories.
To me, sonically, it all didn't cohesively come together as something I wanted to keep going back.
As one project.
Yeah.
And then
there was moments within it that were like, oh, that's cool. I can see that. But as a thing, it didn't fit.
Yeah. And what I say is like, to use his boy, for example, MF Doom, if you look at the literature, it's written really well. I don't like how he sounds, how he sound on beats, like his flow. I don't like none of that shit.
No, I would agree.
And like to me, I'm not saying like Kendrick was that bad on the album when it comes down to that. Right. I don't even think it was bad. It's not specifically sonically something that I'm gonna keep going back to as a consumer. Where to me, Section 80 didn't have a hit sonically, delivery wise, content, everything with it. I thought like it's something I go back to because I enjoy a lot of the pieces to it. Yeah.
But I think like
before you go, it looks like we got something that's the branch off.
50 Cent did not get on by How to Rob. Actually, his first video, Destiny's Child, saying his hook.
Okay.
If you listen to Benny the Butcher song, Johnny P. Caddy's where Cole dissed Kendrick like crazy.
Well, I actually seen like a list. Like there is the theory that J. Cole's pretty much dissed him for the past 6 years.
And they said it went over everybody's head.
Is it dissing if you're just retorting to someone who already like, oh, I'm gonna kill all y'all. Like I'm gonna make sure nobody hears another down bird from you. So
listen, I get it. I get it. Like there's been a bunch of intentionally placed stepper lines in J. Cole's last few records. If you go back and listen to it,
let me ask you this.
Really
let me ask you this. I just gotta clarify one bar that Kendrick said in this song. Okay. Do y'all believe that it's, is it not a big three? It's just big K dot?
No.
Exactly.
Well,
niggas just be talking.
Y'all make me have to like take the
here's why there's no big me. So like,
but is it wrong for him to feel that way?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is he got to do it to be relevant every time.
Hold on. He could have made a song, bro. This nigga does not need to do anything to be relevant.
What I'm saying is
he came out with a song. Part of the big three. You don't need to reach to be relevant if you are part of the big three.
I think the fact that he does reach takes away from his.
He's not.
That's what I'm saying, Johnny. Like it take away. It was like there was no need for him to do it.
So my question
is, like niggas don't even like this is no more.
It ain't even about this. It's not even about. Listen to what I'm saying though. It's not even about this. It's about every time that he comes back. All I'm saying is every time that he come back, he got the dog gonna come out with the diss track. He could have dropped something before the diss track. That's all I'm saying. Every time when he come back out, he got
the record. This is not true.
Okay. Anyway, that's all I'm saying.
This is why like he kind of gets like, oh,
everybody.
And this is why this is the disconnect with Kendrick. Is like he does all this like, oh, I'm growing as a person. I'm damn near a monk, only to pretty much descend back into the things that like. He doesn't like Drake for, that he doesn't like J. Cole for. So, like, it's always, like, one of those things where every time you listen to, like, Kendrick, it's like, why is this always, like, why is there such a disconnect in what you're trying to say?
Now, but let me go. I've been quiet.
You ain't been quiet. Nigga ain't quiet at all. He said, I've been quiet.
But no, like, Kendrick was, like, it felt like Kendrick was talking hard shit. He was like,
when does he not?
But my thing is, what is the beef about? Is the beef about rapping, or is it about like
really holy shit?
And my thing is, Red.
I didn't even enjoy this like debate conversation.
You just heard J. Cole's new shit that he previewed,
right?
Was that shit not way harder than?
No, listen. Right now, we're not doing a comparative. We've been talking about just Kendrick by himself this whole time. I said y'all niggas is being disrespectful, even though I take Cole, but it's just way.
But hear what I'm saying though.
On the Kendrick side, like I was supposed to be taking the Cole side. Now y'all just like.
But hear what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hear what I'm saying though. I wasn't saying that dissing is messed up. I don't think I like diss tracks. What I'm saying is every time that Kendrick pops back on the scene, he got to do some shit to diss somebody or use somebody's face. Hear what I'm saying? He got to diss. He got to diss somebody. Listen what I said. He got to diss somebody or he got to use somebody else's face or use somebody else some type of way to say, "Hey, I'm back." Like
I heard you say that. I just again think that
if anything, like I think now it's kind of coming more like obvious because at one point I think J. Cole was like probably number 3, like out of like the conversation. But now it's getting to the point where like, well, you can't say that Drake is like number 3 because
Drake
like,
is number 3.
well, like it depends. It depends on like, what role you're playing. Like from a sales point, like just like sheer popularity, I would say
Drake is number 1.
If you're saying lyricism, I would say J. Cole. But then where does Kendrick fit? Like you're not really
I think
doing what Drake does.
I think it's more popular to say that lyrically is Kendrick.
No.
Again, so this isn't even my take. I'm a J. Cole fan. I also know what the majority, if it's like the rappers, what they say, like all of the backpack rappers in Charlotte would say Kendrick better.
And didn't Kendrick get like a what was
the Pulitzer Prize?
Hey, Unc just said something about that too. Unc say Kendrick think that he is above all after he won the Pulitzer. The young artist actually asked the other 2 in the big 3. He said the young artist actually asked the other 2 in the big 3 to do features. No one asked Kendrick because he's too arrogant.
I don't know if he just don't care to do features, to be honest.
But like
that actually seems more like, because where does he really?
Yeah,
that ain't his shit. But listen. Let's just, y'all niggas going too hard. Okay, so and I would rather just move forward because
I think that y'all have a horrible take on like that. Because let me just make this one point. So the Control verse wasn't leading into an album. So like that wasn't him popping to promote anything or do anything. That was a
when did he do that? Was that before Good Kid, Mad City?
No, that was after.
It was after.
Yeah, this was a gap of time where it was a Big Sean album release. Like that was the main thing of that. He doesn't have an album. Like he's not promoting anything. He's not doing anything.
And he probably not.
I wouldn't even say.
I doubt he's not.
That's the thing. I didn't say an album. I didn't say an album. Well, I ain't say an album.
So
fuck that. Nah,
okay.
I was trying to get a point off. Y'all niggas just start yelling at.
Let me ask you something, Q.
All right, ask me.
If we go to Kendrick's like career and like how much you like his albums.
Okay.
Start at section 80 and run it down. Are you not liking his albums less and less as they go down? Like how much you like Mr. Morale and the whatever stuff.
I've been that way.
And it's like compare that to section and how you felt about section 80. When he dropped section 80, I was like, damn, this nigga is like the man. And then like every album after that, it felt like
Good Kid, Mad City was hot, and then To Pimp a Butterfly was dope.
Yes, but damn.
No, you ask him a question. Go ahead. Let me.
Yeah. All right, so there's personal opinion, then there's like public consensus, and I would say that. Damn, I like. All right, so I like Good Kid, Mad City. I like Section 80. Section 80 is my favorite album.
Okay.
I think most people's favorite album of his is it's Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay.
But then I think that Damn was received really, really well. That's the thing that he got is.
But how did you personally feel about it?
But so are we like where are we having this conversation? Because like if we're talking about what he's doing, it has nothing to do with like my personal opinion. And I think that every single one of his albums, maybe outside of Mr. Morale, were publicly received excessively well.
For sure.
Better and better each time?
Kinda, to be honest.
It was closer fucking enough.
So you think
well, hold on. Let's go ahead and understand.
What the one with the president, To Pimp a Butterfly? You think that was received?
That takes a while to grow.
Yeah, but I think like
that received better than.
I think every purist puts that on the wall, bro.
City was way better than To Pimp a Butterfly.
Sure, but I don't think so.
Public reception was.
I think purist wise, and all right, so most people put Good Kid, Mad City as his best album. It's like the creme for him. To Pimp a Butterfly is looked at for most people, or a lot of people, especially inside the hip hop, as the classic, like you put on the wall and you can hold up.
Truth.
Like that's what they put that as. It's not like people shit on To Pimp a Butterfly at all. Sure. Like the purists love that. That's not like I don't really go back to that album, but it is a work of art, and I think that even if we compare that and the Big Steppers, that sonically, there's so much shit on there that you can actually go back to, and it does sound good. It's just super dense, and it's like if you feel like listening to jazz, honestly.
But first, do you think he left that much in?
Bro, y'all just feel like y'all just see what he did all this thing. He literally just believes that the last album was shit, and then he done made a whole.
But you don't have to like go down the
exactly. That's unnecessary.
But let's actually have a conversation about the diss.
Exactly.
Like, we ain't even gotten to like who we think will win in the battle or nothing.
Exactly.
Y'all niggas just have a Kendrick Lamar vendetta.
For whatever reason, I didn't know that was gonna be the thing.
Me neither.
That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, niggas, like, I'm the last person to like when it comes down to Cole, Kendrick drop.
And
no, but hell, I was on Facebook talking about, you know what I mean?
I ain't had no vendetta. Just for clarity, I just think his stuff trash.
So listen to what I didn't even know.
Y'all cut me off. Can I say what I gotta say? Now, let me clarify what I said in the first place. I'm not saying Kendrick be whack or nothing like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is every time he come back, he'll disappear for a long time. Then he got to come back with a diss or something about somebody else to come back out. I don't get it.
Well, I think let's just say you're a casual listener.
No, I'm not saying I'm a casual listener, bro. Like, like I know what I'm talking about.
All right.
I don't think that it's applicable for any of his albums.
Yeah, so
I
like,
wasn't even talking about albums. I said come out. Like him coming back out. Like he disappeared for a long time. Then he come out with the Smoking on Your Top 5 or I'm dissing dog. I'm on Future and Metro Boomin song.
Yeah, we're circling the conversation. It's a bad take, but we'll keep moving.
It ain't a bad take. I think it's interesting.
Stop antagonizing that man.
I think it's people who agree with me.
Okay, so in terms of like, would Kendrick beat J. Cole or Drake? I like
Drake,
me,
yes.
I think. Well, I don't even think that's like solidified because like on what terms? Like on like back-to-back terms. Like I think Drake could do that to Kendrick and pretty much have not the same effect as Meek Mill, but like I think ultimately J. Cole could wrap circles around Kendrick for the simple reason of I think nobody wants to say it, but Kendrick Lamar is a beneficiary of good marketing where it's like, oh, he's saying something deep. Because Wale said this back in the day. Like, Wale and Kendrick, if you really look at them, like, they both have the same approach to music. But no one's like gonna like, oh, I'm gonna go back and listen to Wale and break down his album. And
I want to jump into that really quickly because there was an actually, and I'm gonna throw it to you. What you're talking about is the Gifted album that came out right before the Pimp a Butterfly, and the Gifted album was all live music. Like it was very much so what Kendrick did with To Pimp a Butterfly beforehand, but I mean to be honest, Kendrick did it better. And Kendrick is Kendrick and Wale is Wale, and so people can't. It's hard for niggas to make it past his accent.
Dan, you made. I'm sitting there thinking about what you saying. You made me forget what. Hey, he made me forget where I was going.
Just give your, and I guess like it's probably appropriate for all of us to go around table of your thoughts on who would win inside, like the said beef, Kendrick, J. Cole, Kendrick.
Who's number one?
J. Cole, Kendrick.
So this is the crazy thing, and like, and I agree. That's what I was about to say. When you go with the back to back, like the idea that and this is what I said on social when I was responding to the question itself. Is that I think Kendrick is great.
Yeah.
The thing is, I also think that Cole is just gonna make a better record. I don't think that's the same thing when it comes down to when you talk about Drake. It's like fuck. I think that Drake will probably make a better record that will have the replay value that Kendrick's and I think that like honestly when it comes down to it, I think that Kendrick's a better rapper than Drake. I believe that Kendrick's a better rapper than Drake. I think that Cole sits at number one. It's the ease of listening,
I think when you talk rap, I think Kendrick's the best rapper out of all.
What?
Nah. I can't really. I understand what you're saying.
No. Like when it comes to like he's did things in records none of them can do.
I'm not debating that.
Hold on, let's keep going around because I do want to hear everybody's take. So we'll get to you in a second.
So like mine.
But I'm gonna
go Cole one.
Cole won in a versus.
I think Cole beats both of them. Yeah. Kendrick and Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Cole does that. Drake is a pop artist, bro. This nigga's not winning. I don't see.
He didn't watch like 5 straight times.
Come on, you can go with Meek Mill. You know what I mean? He can go and just easily watch Meek Mill. Meek Mill has the same content base over and over and over and fucking over. But when you talk about somebody that actually is doing this shit, bro. it's not gonna be Drake. Drake to me, I like the joint where he actually with the second half of that last album where he actually rap.
Yeah.
I like that. You know what I mean? To me, that was better than the album he dropped. But that's just my opinion. I actually like rap. No. I'm just playing. Good.
Nah. Shoot. Let's go. Like, I want to hear everybody's take, but I don't want to hear what everybody influenced from nobody else's thoughts. So, like, you want to go next?
Let me go next. No, this is J. Cole, Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take Cole because, like, to me, because I feel like Cole is the more over the years, the more consistent. Like, you know what you're gonna get. Kendrick, he might do some left field stuff to where it's gonna be fire, especially if you go back and you give it a few years. Oh damn, I see what you were doing. But like, if we talking just like off the listen, I'm gonna go Cole, and maybe I might be biased because I grew like in college. I knew a dude that went to high school with Cole, and so like I've always been a Cole fan, so I might be biased. Like when it comes to Cole and thinking he gonna kill Kendrick, but to me, Cole's just gonna be. I know what I'm gonna get from Cole. Kendrick, if it was 2012, I'd go Kendrick, but 2024, I can't really go Kendrick because he done went left on me too many times.
Gotcha.
And so where does Drake sit?
3.
I think Drake in between them two because I think Drake.
So you got Cole, Drake.
So Cole will beat Drake, according to you.
In a battle, like.
Don't make him make you walk it back.
I'm just asking a question.
Because my answer was Cole Kendrick. Now we talking the battle between Cole and Drake.
You said you just
We're
said.
trying to give you the 3. We want you to put the 3 in order, bro. That's how we doing.
It's tough. I'm Cole, Drake, Kendrick. Bro. Fuck it. That's
Cole, Drake.
Okay.
Cole, Drake,
All right.
Kendrick. That's what I'm gonna go.
All right, so yes, thinking about the battle, to me, like I said, I do think that Kendrick, when it comes to if he's focused in rapping and trying to actually rap, he's probably the best out of those 3. I think that Drake is the slickest out of those 3 when he's trying to rap, and I think that Cole punches and is more digestible than those other ones. And in the battle, like it just really depends, huh?
Rank them.
Like
His reasoning.
well, yeah. Like so in a battle, the person I'd be scared of would be Kendrick for sure because it just depends on which version of him is coming out. Like if he's coming off on like some Heart Part 2, nobody's fucking with Kendrick. It just is what it is. But if he's coming on like I don't know, like if I actually like the record, but if like he stayed in that pocket of like the Baby King playful, I'm gonna rap a little bit sometimes.
Talking on this future.
That's
a dub.
He's still kind of being playful and he's doing a little of the Baby King shit, but then he's also like barring a little bit. But if he stays there, then I don't even think it's gonna be a close. For me, if J. Cole is fall off J. Cole and he's focused, I don't think any of them's fucking with him because right now J. Cole is kind of like the evolved, like he's the evolution of what he's ever been.
For sure.
And like right now, his pen is the coldest that it's ever been. He's the one that you kind of don't want to fuck with.
Fact.
He's the one right now.
I don't know. Oh, you said he's the one.
Yeah.
No, to me, I think everybody right now is starting to call him the one. And to me, like that's also, I get it in a sense of what's always ever happened with like the top 2, and right now we have a top 3. When it comes down to the rap game, is that's when it becomes competitive, and that those are the ones, especially when you start saying I'm the best, and all 3 of them say that they're the best, and then they hop on each other records and say that they're the best, and that ends up being like a thing. And I see where right now it is getting kind of to the point where it probably makes sense for there to be a battle, and I actually fuck with Kendrick because of this one thing. He ain't want to play them niggas y'all. He ain't want to click up, be friends, and be like, oh no, we're just the big freak. No, it's me.
Yeah.
Now y'all niggas actually ain't fucking with me. Like the competitiveness, and I fuck with that part more than anything.
And this was the thing. Before I think we should get to the comments.
Yeah, we got it.
But let me just finish real quick.
Yeah.
Y'all cannot say that this is not the most beautiful time.
No, I'm excited about rap, bro.
In a while. Like this right here is the most beautiful. Like this time period right here. And the thing is, only thing we can wish is that J. Cole feels that he's been dissed. Yeah. And that we and he come back with the thing. And then let's go ahead and get to the comments. What we got, Tone?
Hold on. Kendrick a better battle rapper than Cole and Drake. Kendrick is a good lyricist, but he loses me when he makes the strange voices like Nicki Minaj and Lil Wayne does.
I don't be liking that shit either.
Man, he get his creative bag and do anything.
I don't be liking that.
We got one more.
And then he said, to me, Cole is the greatest lyricist out of the three. Kendrick, the greatest artist / creator. Drake is probably the greatest entertainer. It all depends on what you prefer.
I think
I can agree with that.
Oh, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing. Like I said, I think Kendrick is really a beneficiary of good marketing because when you get a Kendrick feature, sometimes it's like, you hear something like Goosebumps. It's like, why didn't Travis just call up Tech 9 for like the same verse? Or why didn't he just call up like, some rapidy rapper like Hobson? And it's like, why does Kendrick get away with pretty much just, doing an Eminem, just like complete word salad, just going 100 miles per hour. And everyone's like, oh man, that's crazy. But like Eminem will do the same thing. Oh man, not this shit again. Or Tech 9 is like, is he still doing this? So like, I think to some degree, like for a really long time, to go off like Quint's point, like, if he's really rapping, the fact that you have to say that kind of shows you like Kendrick hasn't been really rapping for a really long time. Like, Kingston, like, what was that verse? Goosebumps. What was he talking about?
And so I want to hop in, and I agree. And that's one of the takes that I would agree with. Where I am one that I put Cole above him because in the last 7 years, I think Kendrick might have had like 3 fire verses.
But like, why are they fire? Because he's rapping like Tech 9, or is he actually?
No. So none of those are the verses that I say are fire. Like when he's like actually inside his bag of like rapping and getting into it. There's a couple of like when he's aggressively rapping, if that makes sense.
So
when he's
Mask Off feature,
that was fire. He went crazy on that.
That's just Tech 9 rapping.
Nah, it's not Tech 9.
How is it not? Like, go listen to the Tech 9 song, go listen to Kendrick, and it's like,
I don't think that's. I get what you're saying. There's some of the staccato shit to it, but again, I disagree. I think that was a fire version of Kendrick, but I think that you get that every once in a while. But the thing also though, because I agree with the general consensus that he gets away with like missing layups because of what his projects are what the projects are. Okay. And so especially if we're speaking features, it'd be a lot of duds in there. Mm-hmm. And also with his projects, he writes so well that you can't say it's bad. And so does it necessarily reach the peak of like, I think right now J.I.D., like if you go his last 2 albums, he would be rapping circles around what Kendrick has done inside his last.
I agree.
That's facts.
And yeah,
I just want to get my take on this before we go to because we getting too long in on.
He didn't get his.
Oh, me neither.
I did.
Yeah, I ain't got mine in.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think like as far as Kendrick, I was thinking about it in drumline terms. So to me, Kendrick would be like the Blue Devils, like as far as like very technical. There's so much stuff that Kendrick writes that can go over your head if you don't. You have to know the references that like, and so I don't want to take like I think Kendrick is a genius writer. Like,
and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think he's a genius writer.
But he get past it because of his body of work.
So I would say like Kendrick's Blue Devils or something like that along those lines, like where it's real technical, and then you have like Drake who's like Cold Steel, A&T or something like that, like where it's more of an entertainment factor.
Yeah.
And then you have Cole that sits in that the school like even though I didn't want to say it. But it's true though. Like I would say Cole is like central. There's a consistency.
Just them niggas. No could be more so like
when you say Blue Devils, you talking
like they're boring as shit.
North is more like Blue Devils. They're very very technical.
Leave the Blue Devils out. Let's just use.
No, I want to use Blue Devils for a reason though.
They
like
got a fire
they're like Blue Devils would actually like if it was a competition, you seen the Blue Devils up against A&T. Mm-hmm. Like, of course, A&T is going to be the more entertaining factor, but the Blue Devils is chopping them up, but you have to know what they playing in order to catch on to that. You don't know that they're getting chopped.
Not do. This is
not do. This is
he in the weeds with this reference.
Talking about it. Yeah, they're just referring to drum lines.
It ain't for y'all guys.
I mean, they can look up they can look up the Blue Devil drum line if they want to and see how they play.
If we're going off a technical standpoint, like would you guys say Lupe Fiasco, Kendrick, and J. Cole are contemporaries?
I mean, like,
so, and I think that Lupe. This is the fair take in my opinion. I think that Kendrick's the new Lupe, and I think that there's a version in which you can say, and people can rightfully say, and you'll hear a lot of like those 03 to 2010 backpackers say Lupe's the best rapper alive, and I think that there is a good case for that. And I think that like Kendrick is this generation's version of that.
But why was it?
I think he's a better version of Lupe though. I feel what you're saying.
I think that most people
I guess like my only question is like, why doesn't Lupe come up in like the top 3 conversation? Because like, he
hasn't had commercial success.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
If you get in the weeds, there are people that will put Lupe in there and they'll play certain.
For sure. And that's what I said. Like when you go storytelling, punchlines, shout out to Cam. He also has his own little rap theory class as well now.
Just to finish up this take, because we running into an hour. So just clarifying, my 3 in order. I think Cole is the best overall because he's the best overall. Like he can give you the good track, he can give you the hit, he can give you the introspective lyrics, and he gonna compete with K-Dot on the shit. I think K-Dot, like Kendrick would be next. Drake's at the bottom for me, and it's just because I don't value entertainment as much. It's like depending on what you like. Kendrick or Drake can switch. If you value entertainment more than Drake, if you value lyrics more than Kendrick, but Cole overall on all of them.
I don't think that's a bad take. Is it time to rock paper scissors for this?
Y'all niggas think it's sweet around this motherfucker.
Sometimes it's good to have a bartender. But
especially with the joke. Y'all kiss my ass on that one.
Real trying to get it nice and
Hey man, hook me up, nigga.
He said pass the rock. But nonetheless, we got the homie Alex here. Hot take king, he said. I think he done let a couple of them off already.
Right? No hot takes.
Not yet. Now you had one in there. Y'all got stuck on F Kendrick for a second.
For sure.
But all right, so Alex, we'd love for you to join in this game.
Okay.
Rock paper scissors. How we decide the order for the memes typically is a friendly game of rock paper scissors. We didn't get you to send in a meme, but what we'll do is, if you do win, you'll just dictate the order.
Okay.
So people also ask this often: is rock paper scissors shoot? All right.
Okay.
Simple enough, fellas. Y'all ready?
Let's go.
Johnny, get the fuck out of here.
You about it
Early. Ready to go?
Hey.
Cut them boys.
Damn.
Damn, I'm a cold nigga. It's actually been a while.
It's been a month.
Oh no, I've been kind of like
killing y'all niggas for a month.
Well,
So we go over the meme and we go round robin?
it's kind of just whoever feel like it.
Okay.
Opinion. Go Johnny. It'll go. Wait, nah. I'm gonna go Rail, me, Johnny. Yeah. Ready.
let Johnny go first, man.
All right, well, Johnny,
Nah, let me go first.
Ah, hell, I'll go first.
Who got Pearl in this motherfucker? God damn.
Who did that? That's Johnny, man. Gotta be Johnny.
Go real first one. That's crazy. Get my lips there.
It's crazy. People still listen to Pearl, bro. I mean, that was the red pill juice when it was real strong, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was going.
Hey, I would also like to say, shout out to Miss Sabora and anonymous messengers. There we go. Maybe, how do I say that word?
Anonymous messengers.
There we go. Messengers. They said use that decanter.
Oh yeah, we definitely.
Yeah. Those are the words that they.
Oh, somebody told us to use the to-be-fed decanter.
Yeah, if you understand, that should be very simple to understand.
Very simple.
So where we at, bro?
My nigga Johnny's still trying to figure it out over there.
I know what it is, but
Then stop thinking, John.
I just didn't know they could see it. That's all.
Nigga talking about I know what it is. You can still see the wheels. Like,
Yeah.
All right, but go ahead. Let's see. Let's start with. Scroll up some more, probably better. I think, matter of fact, man, just like I said, my algorithm been kind of different here last about 2 to 3 weeks. Start with the last one, and then you can just randomly choose.
You are married, you are bound to fight. Number one, accept that. If they say we have never fought, then you are not husband and wife. Okay. Number two, when you fight, one person is upset, second should be cool. Second should not open their mouth. Third thing is there's no perfect couple. Some plus, some minus. He comes along with that plus and minus. I come with my own plus and minus. Please understand. Number four, I want all men of this generation should help their wife in the kitchen.
I'm pretty sure this just
one thing we do though.
It's the meme. It's that meme.
Okay, so just scroll up. Just pick one.
Yeah, you choosing retarded memes and stuff, bro.
That's what it is.
Hey.
One thing we do though is we do disagree in front of our kids.
Oh, okay.
We don't do the go in the room thing and hide the reality of marriage. We let them sit there and watch the whole thing. They were like, Dad, you were frustrated. I said, I know, because your mom tripping, but I love your mom. Doesn't matter. We can disagree. We're going to make a comeback. I'm going to go apologize in just a second. Just give me a chance to work it out. And you know, Camden will be there like, yeah. Let me see that too. I want to see you apologize. Let me see you apologize. And so they lighten things up. We talk about it. And sometimes we'll talk about why we were disagreeing, what we were disagreeing about. But people who love each other can disagree too, son. One thing we do though.
Yeah, I thought that one was cold. And a lot of the times when you hear people talk about it back when we were growing up, there's why y'all arguing in front of the kids? Why y'all doing this and that in front of the kids? And always wanting to hide everything. And which the only thing you're doing is you're not really hiding. And this is me coming to, I have young kids. So I have a daughter that's 4 and a son that's 1. And what I'm just thinking my way through being intentional about parenting and like, either, which do I actually go in the room and hide the disagreements or do you do it in front of them? And you know what I mean? Just having all of these different thoughts. And the thing is that I'm realizing is that like, no matter if you hide it, you're still not hiding it. What it is that you're allowing your adolescent child to come up with what they believe is going on versus actually you as an adult telling them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're allowing that young mind to fill in the blank when they don't have the capacity to actually fill it in. And that's something that like, I'm not saying that I got it figured out, nor have I productively done this. But this video made it come to the forefront where it was like, it was like, man, dang. So yeah, I think that we should, because that also, when you have that little body there, it also makes it so that you do it more productively.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I thought that was a dope meme, and it made my wheels start spinning. What else do y'all think?
I'll toss it to Alex. I guess we'll start. Alex, do you have kids?
Yeah, I got a 4-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter, and yeah, I think you to go for your point. Like, I think if you don't do it in front of them, I think it's a give and take. I don't think you got argue certain ways in front of them, but yeah, you kind of need to show them how to resolve conflict, and absence of conflict doesn't mean that there isn't a problem. So like, if you just address it in front of them, like, hey, like, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with that. I think the one thing that parents should not do is undermine the other one in front of the children. Because like, if I'm saying something and then my wife is like, no, or the vice versa, then like it kind of gets to the point where kids can't even like really take either parent seriously. So like, I think fighting in front of kids is not fighting, but like resolving conflict is fine.
Yeah.
Not being a unified front, I think that's kind of like where I don't agree. Like, I don't think it should ever get to the point where moms and dads are like, well, I don't care what you're saying, and don't listen to your daddy. Go ahead and eat the cookies.
Yeah. What you said about like the unified front, that's to me, because I see my parents arguing and stuff. Like I said, I ain't got kids, so I'm speaking in hypothetical.
Yeah.
I can speak from what I've seen. See my parents argue. My parents still married to this day, so that unified front. That's one thing. Like, I would always see them argue. They go back and forth, but I try to play both sides against each other. I thought I was smart. I was like, well, mama said this, mama said.
Nah.
They always was on. When it came to me, they was always on one side. They was always, now they might have had their own disagreements, and I'll see that. But when it came to me, I couldn't. Well, mama said this, daddy said this, and so I think that's important too. Even if you have a disagreement, or you know, thing when it comes to kids, there should be a universal understanding, and there shouldn't be no back and forth on that.
Yeah, I guess I'll round off the conversation by saying, pretty much doubling down on what everybody else, where it's really important to be intentional about what kind of conflict that you do have in front of the kids. Like which version of these conversations and how y'all do resolve it. Because of what also does produce really bad like outcomes is negative like communication in front of kids. And them normalizing that piece. In which I think that solving conflicts is hyper important in front of like kids, young kids, older kids, like it just in general. Seeing like things have a conflict and a resolution, and seeing how things can actually get worked out. But if you're not in a space where y'all can healthily actually resolve the conflict, I do think that it should be behind closed doors until y'all can actually find a method of solving conflicts healthy. Because again, like that would then be the thing that they pair. Where like it's the overly yelling, pushing, and putting in your hand and doing all the extra shit. And whether like it's the male and the like they see that as like, well, either one, like whatever version of abusive behavior that can come from it. And them seeing that as okay for somebody else to do. So yeah.
Okay, we got one comment. If you let a child never know anything about conflict, how do you teach them about conflict resolutions?
Right.
Facts.
All right.
You can choose one more random and I'll be done.
Hey, you see what this say right here, though, real, right?
What is it?
But I love your mom.
Oh.
Hey, this let's go up. I had to choose this one.
Most women do not want to make more money than their men. They want their men to be able to make more money than them. Most women will respect their men more if their men are bringing in more money. Most women want the luxury of not having to work if they don't want to. If they're making more than their man, now they have to work. That's where frustration, resentment builds up against the man. Now we're going into biology, and the reality is most women will lose respect for a man who's making less than them. That's just period, end of story, that's how it is. One time we were in San Diego Wild Animal Park, and they had this beautiful gazelle that had one super long horn and one broken horn, separated, not running around with all the other gazelles and zebras and giraffes and shit. And I asked the zookeeper, I was like, what's up with that one gazelle? Like, oh, none of the female gazelles want to mate with him because he's got a broken horn, and that's just a genetic sign that he's not worthy of mating with because he's a lesser gazelle, right? And so we just kind of keep them separated, feed them separately. The females, and actually the males, kind of attack him. Oh shit. Well, a man that doesn't make more than his woman is a man with a broken horn.
So in my mind, I sent that one as like, as I was sitting thinking about it, I think that we're at a time now where a lot of people or they're vocally don't agree with that, right? We're vocalizing like they'll say that like they believe that it doesn't matter who makes more money, or men feel intimidated by women that make more money, and it's like by saying that, which would I'll be able to infer that you believe that you could actually respect and be with a man that makes less money than you. So I really just wanted to. Well, I didn't know we were gonna pick that one, but just to put that on the table and say. Because I believe we've had this conversation of like, could you date a woman that makes more money?
Well, I think we all know our opinion. I think let's start off with Alex, because it's a fresh viewpoint.
Okay, yeah, let's start off.
I think we're just following like modern trends of like feminism. I think it's important for everybody to understand like to liberate women to the point like, hey, you can work. You don't have to depend on a man. And you should be able to participate in the open market just as much as any person should. However, I do think there is somewhat of a disconnect where I don't think the rhetoric is lining up with like their internal thought process of, I don't want to be with him because he makes less money than me. Or if I am going to be with him and he makes less money than me, like I'm never going to let him forget it. So I think my general theory is I think women don't want to admit it, but like I think to a certain extent, like I think being with a man is a burden that has to be compensated in some form or fashion monetarily. And if it isn't, then it's always going to be like a cause of friction and and essentially like conflict. So
I see what you're saying.
I actually like the way you just put that because go ahead.
No, I see what you're saying, but like I think when it comes to like, if you look at like the traditional man or the average man, and like the emotional baggage that might come with someone being unaware, but I think if you look at like, and the man that I'm trying to be in that stuff, like I don't think it's a burden to be with me as a partner. I wouldn't. I wouldn't say that because I try to, not only just money, but emotionally, I try to bring stuff like, cause I call myself an empath, and I try to be like empathy, something that's big for me, and so I try to bring that to the relationship outside of money and like protection and providing emotionally. I'm a person that considers myself an empath, so I also bring that to the table. But I think if more men were like that, people wouldn't think of being with men as a burden.
No. It's more so like I think it's not all women. I think some women like there's an underlying like.
I think that's a fair thing to think that.
Well, underlying ethos of like, for instance, right? If you go on a date, like I think both parties have to equally get prepared, equally get dressed, equally spend a certain amount of money. But I don't think it's necessarily going to be something that a man's going to say like, let me see, like what, like, I had to get a babysitter. Like, you can't get me a to-go box for my kids. Like, I don't, like, I think it's all underlying, like, always, like.
But those are nasty women that's saying
yeah,
that. If we, let's place the conversation at the average person.
So the thing is that, no, see, I think that what we keep doing with these relationship conversations is, I think there's like there's a bit of a lack of honesty. And I think that he's talking about it from a standpoint to where I think that this is more honest, in my opinion. It sounds good to say that it sounds good to say that like she wouldn't. At the end of the day, let's say that she does, she has children, which I think that should be something y'all talked about earlier. If y'all are out to eat, if you do decide that, oh well, you can take a little Bob and then a little plate too, then you've automatically put yourself at a different. And she would much rather that. And she may not.
I don't understand what are you saying? Like you're saying if the man.
What I'm saying is that Go ahead.
I guess my thing is that I don't think that that's close to the average scenario though. That's why I say like
what do you mean?
Like the average scenario, the average guy going out on a date is not going out on a date with the woman that's looking for or have the expectation of him bringing a to-go box for her her children.
Yeah.
Or compensating like the babysitting and all of like the outlier things that you hear on social media.
No, but what I'm saying is that like, okay, so like look at this. If we're gonna be real
paying
about
for the date, yes.
If we're gonna be real about it, then at the end of the day, which I understand, like if you're going to be dating, then maybe you should figure out the whole babysitter thing. But there's a thing to this where it's like, okay, so
you could just not date women with kids.
Like, do y'all think that like the babysitter conversation is like a prevalent conversation in dating?
No. This is an no.
So that's what and I agree. I think everybody probably agree with y'all example. I just don't think that it's a way to like encapsulate the entire dating market, or like average dating market.
Let's not even use that as the example. Let's just move forward. So the idea of what the meme was about, it was saying that women long term are not able to respect and value men that make less money than them. On average. Of course, we can see like, there's been famous people who date dudes that don't make as much money as them, but we don't count those. Let's just say on average. Go ahead. What is your?
Oh no, I guess what I'm thinking about is that, from my understanding, on average, it's pretty much, especially, all right, we just gonna talk about black. It's been two people working, and a lot of times their incomes are very, very close on average. Okay. And I don't know, like, and sometimes the woman's making more, sometimes the guy's making more, and if we're just going explicitly in 2024, the female is making more.
It's like 46 to 42.
Yeah, so like on average, this is the place and the space that we see happening.
Right. So, but
on average, it's not like a crazy difference all I'm saying is that it's not a crazy like spike in in over like even if we just say the past 20 years of like.
So listen, this is what I'm saying. There's a difference between what is actually happening and what we believe or what someone would believe should be the case.
Right. That's why I'm only talking about what's actually happening.
Yeah.
The same. No, we're actually saying two different things. What I'm saying is that I believe that we can say the stats of everything, but then the way people actually live and what they actually think in their minds is going to be different than what the facts say. That's just like the average. Like a lot of women would want the man to be. Let's say you're dating a 25-year-old man, or let's say 30. We're 30. We're around 30. A 30-year-old man, but you actually what you're wanting is like the more 45, 50-ish man.
So you're talking about like the ideals. I think that, but that's the idea of like everybody settles. So like if you ask anybody anywhere what they want, 9 times out of 10, the person that they're with doesn't check off like most of those boxes. There's like certain core things that they definitely do, but like everybody's settling on something. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you're asking people, like to me, the better thing is that what people tell you out their mouth is the thing that sounds good. What they actually are doing and what you actually see, and what every situation when you just kind of like look around ends up being like. To me, is what you should actually like go by.
But see, the hard part about it is, and this is really quick.
And when I think anecdotal and statistically, I just seeing most of the people, average people are doing.
I would say that the average person is probably single. So what we're hearing is a lot of those voices.
Well, all right. So to me, all right. So then I'm gonna just go with the average married. But let me make this last point, then we'll talk to you. The average married people that I see adhere to these very same statistics.
Single or not?
Yeah, single or not. Like, but I see that, and a lot, most I would say probably like if I say 6 out of 10 of married people that I know, the woman makes more.
So let me bring. I'm use an example from my job. Y'all know I sell cars. Right? Y'all do that. But I had a.
I almost went left. Go ahead.
Don't do it, cause or do it. But
later we'll ask you if you would buy a car from him. But we'll get back to the.
Don't fucking do it.
But I had a situation yesterday where a customer was telling me like how much his truck, quote unquote, he saw it selling for. Mm-hmm. He didn't know what it was selling for. He saw how much people were asking for the truck. So you saw online where somebody was asking 65, somebody was asking 62. I looked in my system, I can see what they're actually selling for. Mm-hmm. And so I know what they're selling for. You're going to tell me they're not selling for that. That's what somebody's asking for, and they've had that truck for 2 months. That's what they're asking for.
Sure.
That woman's settling like a motherfucker. That's what Johnny's saying.
And so there's a difference between, you can see somebody online, and they saying, I want X, Y, and Z, but like what they're actually settling for, the actual selling price of that truck is way different than what you might.
What was the selling price
online? I gave that man what I gave him. He wanted 60. He said he wanted 57. I think I gave him 55 for it.
Oh, that was damn close.
But he said he saw people selling it for
65. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he came in with a battery.
And I was like, that's not what they're selling it for. You might see it online listed for that. That's not what it's selling. People that are actually selling that.
Want me to tell you what that's like? It's like when you go in the comment sections, and then you click on that profile picture, and you see that big back, and she said that she ain't going 50-50. I'd be like,
and then you see that back.
The funny thing is, the funny thing is, she really about to pay about 80
plus giving a nigga her tax.
She gonna co-sign for a nigga to get that charger. She co-signing for that charger.
All right, let's go over these comments real quick. We got a couple comments. We're gonna go over those real quick. Out of almost any relationship that I know that the woman makes more money, the man seems to let her get away with a lot more than he would if he made more money. All right, and this one says, I know that it's not true, but sometimes for people to be in a relationship, it almost sounds like legalized prostitution. Mm-hmm. I actually agree with that, and I want to play something just to take this same conversation, but just different meaning.
It's true though. Hey, I know. Hey, shit, funny though.
Relationships is all about level. That's the reality. That's what niggas be mad at him.
It makes sense like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just want to play this real quick, just to take this conversation to another level.
Choose somebody who you know loves you enough to change your diaper. Don't sit there and choose somebody for your 20-some-year-old self, your 30-some-year-old self. You better choose somebody for your 70-year-old self. I can tell you this as a woman after 40 years. After all that my husband and I been through, when it was time to bury my family, he had me. When it was time to bury his mother and father, I had him. When it was time to go through sickness, we had each other.
What she's saying is the same dutiful mindset you would have for.
No, my hand was way different. No, my hand was up first. I put it down.
He tried to race me to
Y'all
it.
didn't see. My hand was up
It's
before
called
that.
front seat. You remember back in the day?
Shotgun. You got shotgun. Go
I
ahead.
called Shotgun Infinity at 12, so y'all niggas can't talk
That
to
shit
me.
don't work.
Boy, this nigga Johnny is the smart kid in the classroom today. I know the answer.
No, my hand was up first. I let it.
He tried to race to the top. That's crazy.
Go ahead, bro. You got it.
I forgot it because I just felt like shitting on you. Go ahead. You forgot it.
He
Too.
forgot
All right.
this too.
Do I need to play it again?
So like, just I guess like to be with somebody who's going to take care of you. I guess that's auspicious in some regards, but I don't. Isn't that what everybody's doing to some degree?
No. People are not.
Hey, that's what I was. Oh, you go ahead.
Okay, I think that's where the disconnect of like a lot of these relationship conversations end up being, and when we start speaking about in reality what it's about. I don't think that a lot of and this is a conversation. I might want to bring this to unpack. Are black people on the internet giving out the worst relationship advice?
Yes,
absolutely,
100%.
And because of the thing is that nobody's actually talking about the real tangible things. And when we get into like these like the incomes and the intangible things as well. If I said tangible, like when we start talking about like all these different little things about, you got a question about it. So I ain't even gonna go into that sphere. But the reality is that what everybody should be trying to do is find a good person. A person with flawed character in general is going to be a flawed person, and you're going to end up fucked regardless. Whether they got a bunch of money, a little bit of money, whether they, look really beautiful or they bare built, it really don't matter.
With a big back.
Yeah.
But see,
they also go ahead. I was going to describe the bare built.
I don't do that. We know what that is. But what I would say is, it's like nobody at 20 like gets with somebody and be like, I'm gonna change your diaper at 70. Mm-hmm. You just get with somebody that you really fuck with, and you hope that like their character.
No, you pay attention to. Well, I pay attention to character.
That's what I was about to say. Like that was the next word out. Like is you just hope that their character lasts, and that like over these next 40 years that there's whatever is in their character. Yeah, it lasts to where like when it comes that time, I feel like I'm obligated, because anytime that I needed somebody to be there over the last 40 years, this person was there for me.
Right.
And when we talk about relationships, and like a lot of times the ego get involved, and a lot of people don't, like they're not even thinking about like, what about 20 years from now, 30 years, 40, 50 years from now? Like,
yeah, like how well did your partner deal with compromise?
Or like,
how often can they?
How well are we at conflict resolution?
Yeah, conflict resolution.
Like me and this person, how well are we communicating to where like in 20 years and we have something wrong, are we gonna be able to get? What about 40 years from now? Yeah. If we have an issue, will we be able to get through it? And I don't think people look at like that when it comes to character. I think people look at like money and paying bills, and there's a bunch of criteria that we have, but none of it lends to whether this person has good character or not.
For the streets.
And it's like until we start looking for that, and we talking about family and community and like what's best for black people, until we as black people have good character and good family dynamics, our community is gonna be fucked up. We see values. We see like the result of us not having the good values.
It sounds like this piggybacks to your question.
A little bit, but I'll digress.
Okay.
I'll digress.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say like if you kind of look at like the modern YouTube trends with like pretty much every young black man in a white screen, and there's like 20 females to 20 males and one person, like the 20 versus 1. Yeah. And it's like, I think that's kind of like how like it's just like a visual representation of how people are dating nowadays, with like dating apps and all that stuff. So I think even if you look at that, it's like, oh, everybody is like if you watch them, it's like, wow, like you didn't talk to Shorty because like.
Or them balloon videos be
pop the balloon, and it's
but
like,
I also think that that's the internet. I
it's the internet, but it's like it's the internet, but there's an audience for it, and to some degree,
truth behind that too.
That's kind of.
I think it's an exaggerated form. So I guess to go to your point, this is what I would say. I think that in general with internet dating, the thing that's already checked off first in comparison to like. In previous, like everybody had to go meet somebody at the bar, meet them at church, or meet them wherever you met them at, is that you weren't sure if the person found you attractive. So to me, a piece of it is that with the internet dating, the first thing that you know is checked off is that, all right, you had to at least find me some level of attraction at first. Whether you catfish, then that's his own thing. And to me, like if you were smart, that then allows you the lot of actually being able to properly vet for like the other shit. If I know that whoever ends up like swiping, I don't know if it's right or left, on me, like we know that there's an attraction there, so we ain't even gotta like fuck with that part.
Yeah, but like you know there's an attraction there, but like we're speaking from our like 30-year-old and up perspective. Like, okay. Like think about it. Like if you walked up to your son and like, how do you hold the phone? I do this, they do that. Like they don't even know what dating looks like because to them dating is like going on Tinder.
It's not true. All right, so you said my son.
Like your son, somebody.
So again, I think that modern dating changes once you leave like whether high school or college.
Yeah.
Because of like you're like right now, like they have like their like internet persona a little bit, but it's the niggas that you are in school still. Like they like that social thing definitely still matters a lot right now. And I see that between like middle school, high school, and college as well.
You know the crazy thing is that I believe that our age group are the people that's actually doing it the way we trying to. We actually like try to put it on the kids, but it's really us. It's our age group.
They're actually like all
day. Swiping left and right all day.
And that's gonna have the effect on the kids too.
No, it is.
That's the real truth. It's like we try to put it, but it's like us that's like grown tired of like going out, and we're the ones that are jaded, and we're the ones that are like that. Like also, because we're also the generation that's like that in between. Like we used to go outside and stuff, and so like the internet isn't like some like foreign concept to us, but we're also. We're adults like our parents were, so we're the generation that really has the power to like we can actually go on that like kind of incel route to where we only gonna go online and we ain't doing that because we understand the internet probably better than any generation. Like you look at all the generations, our generation understand the internet more than anybody, and so that shit that y'all talking about. That's within our generation. That ain't them kids.
I agree.
Like
I said, I can only speak for like college and under, like the kids that went to college and the under, but for sure they still have real life social circles. Tone.
I would say there's a tendency with us, actually, that we take life for granted and we don't think that anything will ever happen to us, or that. I think that's more so what ends up happening. Why people don't even think about these things in a relationship as much anymore, as far as like a woman or your significant other. Somebody taking care of you or being able to take care of you in the future, or thinking about the longevity of the relationship or what it's going to come out in the future. Old. People don't think they're going to get, or they're not even thinking about getting old.
I guess, because I always look at like, how quickly am I going to get tired of like, not even like specifically how you look, but you as the person.
I'm talking about in general, so not like you though.
I get that. I'm branching off and posing this, but so what do like people, I'm going to just ask y'all, be thinking about when you're actually in a relationship outside of fucking?
I was about to say, I think that's what you should be thinking about in a relationship.
And clout, like you said when we talked about.
So Johnny, what was your longest relationship?
3.
Okay, 3. So like during like the tenure of that conversation, like that relationship, what was the thing that you were thinking about, and what was the thing that determined? Because eventually, like. Y'all fucked in every position, and then like you knew how good she was.
What made it last? It wasn't the attraction. It was the communication to where we were able to like. Yeah. No matter what situation we was in, I can communicate how I feel. You can communicate how you feel, and we're able to like have at least even if we don't agree, we can have some kind of.
How old were you?
Understanding. 23, 24.
Yeah, that shit just sounded good. I figured this nigga was finna say something that contradicted his whole goddamn.
But that don't make sense though. as far as like,
I would say,
but okay, so that don't make sense. Communication.
No,
I think
what I'm saying
is that not something that's helped your relationship last?
What I'm saying is that it sounds good, but you're telling me that you and her were thoroughly communicating at 23.
Yes. Like I mean, the reason
It's hard to fucking believe.
The reason the relationship didn't work out wasn't because of communication. It was because of
you dropped off some shit.
Yeah, it was me wanting to not, and you know what? The communication was there. She knew why the relationship didn't work. It's just I wasn't ready to commit.
Hey, maybe you were communicating very effectively at 23. I know I was shit.
Yeah, but I get it because what you're saying is that was y'all connection, is the fact that y'all actually was like able to communicate and be vulnerable with each other.
I want to keep it on the time limit, but the thing I was about to say, just to answer your question, or not even just answering the question, but I think everybody should be thinking about, or your thought process as a person in a relationship is, can I take care of this person? Regardless whether you're the man or the woman, regardless of money or anything like that. Like, because that's your responsibility. I think, especially if you're aiming for marriage, you should be aiming to take care of each other. Like, I expect my girl to take care of me the same way I expect to be taking care of her. It's like a...
Go ahead. You don't want to be in a relationship solely to take care of somebody, because then you kind of get into this weird thing where, like, now you have a savior complex, or you're finding people who are legit problems to fix.
I don't know about that.
No, that's a good rebuttal. True. That's a good rebuttal.
I get what you're saying. Like, I would say the all-encompassing thing that, like, it's not just communication. It's not just finding somebody you can take care of. I think it's finding ultimately somebody that is going to force you to grow with them and alongside them. Because, like, I would say, like, with my wife, like, that's probably, like, I met my wife when I was 26, and I don't think I was talking to her. No, not 26, 24. I remember when I was 24, and, like, I don't think I was talking on deep levels, but I think we had the same machinery that we do now that we use to figure out, like, now I need to do better about that, or baby, like, you need to fix this. And I think ultimately, when you have that component, any obstacle, anything that you're doing in life, like, it's easier to navigate because you know you're walking.
So I think I still think that's a part of taking care of. Like, when I'm saying taking care of, I'm not saying like trying to save somebody. What I'm saying is you have to look and identify those things. You have to look and identify those things within a relationship. Like, okay, like if I see my woman is struggling with this, I need to look for the area. Like she's struggling in this area. I can take care in this area, meaning I can help her in that area. Like, that's what I mean by taking care of, I guess.
And one thing I was gonna say is, like, cause I've had the conversation, cause I had a manager, and he's been married for, like, and he didn't look like he was older than like 50, but he'd been married for 18 years. He was like 40 something. He looked like he was 30. And I asked him, like, so how you and your lady, like, over them 18 years, like, what's the key? And he was like what you said, somebody that forces you to grow, but somebody that you can grow with, because, like, over a course, if we talking longevity, we talking 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 years, the person that you married in whatever, that's not going to be the person 20 years from now. So it's like somebody that forces you to grow, but, like, also, like, with communication, somebody that you can, like, grow along with, and, like, somebody that also, like, inspires you to grow, that kind of, like you say, forces you to grow.
Because no one's going to be forcing you to grow if they're not invested in you.
Or inspiring you. You know, like, forcing somebody. I don't like the word force. I might not necessarily like that, but, like, the inspiring you to grow alongside with them. You know, I think that's.
But I think force is a great word, because of, like,
you know,
if the relationship goes on,
I got authority issues. My
god. Telling that, I think it's a good time to hit them comments.
Audience, if y'all watching, you know, chime in. We're gonna go over these comments now. Sinbad had a comedy skit once that talked about a man having a stroke and needing to be with the woman his age, and a few years later, it actually happened to him.
Oh, that's actually facts.
Yeah.
That's how Kevin Samuels went out.
People really don't think about someone taking care of them for a long time, because if you believe in God, He takes care of you all the time.
My bad. Read that one more time. We were being silly back
here. People really don't think about someone taking care of them for a long time, because if you believe in God, He takes care of you all the time, and most people don't even believe in Him.
Shout out,
I think was just shooting strays.
Yeah, that's one to think about.
Hey, shout out Tara G.
She bite.
But do you even bother asking yourself if something happened, like maybe you had a stroke, will she stay and take care of you, or dip? Kind of important.
I do think that is important.
And then the thing is that I've learned along the way is that, man, you never really know. You know what I mean? You never really know if shit does hit the fan. Will this? You know what I mean?
I think that I want to take it to a toxic space real quick.
You talking about old buddy in that bathtub in that Tyler Perry movie?
I don't even know what that means.
Oh, you talking about
Diary of a Black Woman?
Nah. I don't know if this is like American Dad, Family Guy, one of them things. But you had homeboy in
Joe.
wheelchair.
Joe.
Family Guy.
And he was paralyzed, legs down.
Bonnie be miserable.
Bonnie be miserable. This is the question for you.
I know what you think.
Would you be willing? I'm gonna go to real first. Would you be willing?
What the fuck was the
to let your lady get dropped off if you lose all feeling inside all those parts?
Oh, buddy.
You can't satisfy her, but y'all are married.
I'm cutting on the timer on this. This is a topic. I'm cutting on the timer, yo. Let's go.
She got to get. What you going?
Bro,
you gonna get like the fifth deal though?
No, I'm getting the joint with the vibrator in the joint, whatever.
Motherfucker gonna be doing like this.
I'm talking about. I don't know what kind of. I'm trying to get the angle on that motherfucker. That one that
gonna be doing like this.
Hey, I'm eating this shit. We gonna figure it out.
Your toe work better be like.
We gonna figure it out. There ain't no other dude finna be.
What you think?
Hey, you better learn how to roll.
Alex, how you feel about this?
I'm generally against open relationships or any like involvement in it, because like I just don't think that humans are built outside of any framework of a relationship outside of monogamy. I think people.
You're pro monogamy for men and women.
I think that like I think people pretend like they are, but like I don't think people are generally comfortable in those situations because like prime example, look at Will Smith and Jada. Like it's just so much like insecurity on display for everybody to see. So like
we don't know how Will Smith felt about that situation.
Well, he slapped the shit out of Chris.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like ultimately,
he didn't slap Alvin.
If it came to the point where like I couldn't,
it sounded like built up tension.
I guess I couldn't satisfy my wife, like, and that was like a
if you was paralyzed, legs down.
Yeah, like if that was like a major like pain
for
point
the next 60 years.
Yeah, if that was a major pain point for her, like I would just say like, hey, like, I'm sorry, like if you want to go talk to somebody else in this relationship, I'm fine with that.
But as long as y'all in that relationship, she ain't getting dropped off by nobody else.
No, like
hold up, just
because like I wouldn't, because on the flip side, like I wouldn't.
But what if she was like willing to do all other things? She changing your diaper and anything.
No, like I wouldn't want her to like ultimately that's something that's preventing her from being like holistically happy. So.
But she loves you. She don't want to leave. But she
They don't care about changing.
But she like getting dropped off.
She just gotta get dropped off. Like one Tuesday.
But like that's what what you guys are saying though.
This is the thing though. If you ain't got nobody else to change your shitty ass diaper,
it ain't nobody else,
and she willing to do it.
You going to them folks homes after that.
Well, like. That's a weird.
And the only caveat is one Tuesday.
That's why I said we getting toxic. We getting.
Well, like that's what I'm saying. Like I would rather it just be like
you gonna weather shit in your ass for like.
I'll figure it out.
You gonna go to that house.
But like ultimately, but like to answer your hypothetical, like she needs to be dropped off because she's not being fulfilled and she's not ultimately happy, right? So obviously, there's something that I can no longer do that's gonna make her happy. Go somewhere else. Like I mean, like
got two more talking about that.
I was about to say too, because you got to look at it on the reverse level too. Like if it was you and she's paralyzed, would you be willing to not get?
But her being paralyzed doesn't stop.
I'm okay for whatever reason. Put it like this: not even paralyzed.
Not a good comparison.
Let's say for whatever reason her coochie don't work no more. You can't get none no more.
I forget what movie that was. It was a Ben Stiller movie.
I'm just saying, if
that's impossible.
Hypothetical, would you be faithful? Would you be staying?
Well, it's impossible.
Okay, she get locked up. She get locked up. She get locked up. She locked up.
She better let me cheat.
I'm saying, hey, can I answer the question? Can I answer the question?
Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I'm getting that surgery because they got one where you can like pump that motherfucker up. You can get the.
Johnny even researched.
I ain't even heard of that.
You can get the pump. And you just boop, 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 boop.
They gonna be pushing his ass up like this.
And that motherfucker, like that's all you got. If you get paralyzed, they got the pump. Like you can pump that, but like the shoes.
Johnny,
like,
why do you know this?
Exactly.
Because I've wondered about if you get paralyzed.
He's prepared.
What do you do? They got a surgery. If you get paralyzed, they got a surgery for that. For that
That's
very
crazy.
reason, there's a surgery. You just gotta pump that motherfucker up like the basketball back in the day. But
Hey Tom, what's your thought, bro?
Hey man, I'm oh yes, I don't know, man. That's a hard one. I'm sitting there trying to be fair in my head because I know, like, if it was me, I'm gonna want to get some still. I'm still want to get some, but yeah, if it was her, I couldn't expect her not. If she's still willing to do everything else, man, I might gotta chalk that because it's like, who else I'm gonna find to do? Who else gonna wipe my ass? Who else gonna take care of it? If she got to go get some, man, what can I say? I hate it. I don't want it.
Hey, somebody old lady just put the eyes on us, so one of y'all might want to get the talking right.
Uh-oh. Hey, run through them checks.
All right.
You trying to get nobody fucked.
somebody better get.
No man wants to see or hear about any man that put in good work with his lady.
That's tough.
We got the eyes. Uh-oh.
You agreed to a threesome. That motherfucker rolled that bitch in with a wheelbarrow.
I don't want to see it. I would not want to know. I would not want to know. That's one thing. Like, I'd be Mario Winans, bro. I don't want to know. I don't want to know nothing. I'm Mario Winans out here, bro.
What's the next one?
Any dude who has ever done any time, the last thing he think about is what his old lady is doing while he's in jail. Dudes I know don't want to hear about it when they step into the world again.
I imagine. That's I think that this is probably a good time to segue into Freaknik just dropped. Shout out to all the aunties. Shout out to all the mom dudes. Shout out to also all the ladies. It's not like exclusive to Freaknik. Shout out to all the bike week princesses.
CIAA shorties.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Luke was saying he got more footage.
I imagine. But to me, what I do think that this is, we tend to have like the 90s versus like today's time thing. And the reality of it is that every youth at 18 through like 25, 26, in every generation be getting their rocks off. It's not like this generation thing or last generation thing. It's every pretty much generation. They called it Freaknik. We call it the slut walk.
That's not the same.
Tell me how it's different.
It's not the same.
Yeah,
Tell me the difference.
They gave a lot of history.
Freaknik started off as like just like a black picnic for students. I think
on spring break for
Feldman and it slowly like.
And freak wasn't about getting freaky.
Yeah, it's so.
Oh no, for sure. But by '88, it had almost like a 10-year run.
Yeah, but it slowly transformed into something outside of that. And
when did Luke come on there and say he brought the freaky aspect? Was that '93 that he was talking?
It was like 92, 93.
It was '93 because I know the Work It Out video he talking about. I made reference to this stuff in the song and everything I wrote. Like
right. Never mind. We're gonna get back to that hip hop thing. We're gonna get back to it. But yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, like I think it was more formed out of the need for black students to feel like, hey, we want our thing too. Like the white students get to have their whole massive get together.
Did you watch the documentary?
I watched this YouTuber called Intellectual. She kind of talked about the same thing, but
yeah, I know on there pretty much what they were saying is that the group that first started it Freaknik came out of the dance. The freak. So what they were doing was bringing
again, bro. Whatever you just doing with your hips.
Nigga, don't look at my hips. I'm gonna keep doing it on camera. Hey, listen. For the next four pods, every time Jeremy tell me not to do something, I'm wearing my boy shorts and I'm doing the freak. Don't worry about it.
You got your thighs out.
Yeah,
boy
shorts. My boy shorts.
Freak out.
Wait till you get a solo shot. Hey, don't do that in my shot.
With Johnny.
Don't worry. I'm doing this and then I'm starting my pelvic thrust next. I'm getting up here. Don't worry about it.
Hey, go ahead. Show her real quick, Q.
How to do it?
Yeah, show.
Next time.
Hey, no Diddy.
All right, but yeah, continuing to it. The theme of, and I think it was Spellman and Morehouse. They had multiple activities that were named after the freak. So it was like I don't know, like whatever the homecoming freak freak and the spring break thing was pretty much for like the kids that couldn't go home and didn't go anywhere else. It was the picnic, so it was the Freaknik, and that's what it was like literally based off of. Kids that couldn't go, that wasn't able to go home during spring break, in the school-sponsored picnic, in which the theme of the year was the freak, which is based off of the dance from that song. They was bringing the freak back. Yeah. It wasn't really like a sexual context. Yeah.
But you said it was like a slut walk.
That nigga was being he was being toxic.
No, all right. So what I was talking about, like, so what I'm talking about is like if you just go from 1990, what it evolved into, and if we want to go to the 80s, where like there was a different version of that thing in which 20-year-olds went to a place to seek liberation and freedom and like doing all the different little things. I think literally every single generation has those things. Like when I was a kid, not a kid, but like in 05, it was bike week. So it was literally bike week, and that was for sure the thing. Go ahead.
So why do we always want to call doing a whole bunch of dumb shit liberation? It seems like every time a motherfucker want to just do the opposite of what we could quote unquote socially say is the right thing.
Well, I think that is the liberating part,
myself. Right? I just want to.
But isn't that like the definition of the liberation of it?
I guess, bro. But like,
nah, it's
just want to get.
No, I mean like the reality, like
if you
liberating,
just like getting dropped off. Oh, I liberated myself, so let's have a pro-liberation.
I seen a woman talking about this, and she said like, as a woman, true liberation isn't like, because like women, like as for a woman, getting sex is easier than a man. So like,
no, but it's stigmatized, and that's the liberation piece.
But it's easier though. So wouldn't true liberation would be doing the harder thing and like?
So what it was?
No, because they're already forced to do the harder thing.
And part of what they was explaining in the documentary,
so traditionally, a woman abstaining from sex, being a virgin, or having as low as a body count as possible is the thing that is pushed for them. But it's also the harder thing because they always have the most access to sex.
So one of the things that I did catch on, one of the points I did catch on that one of the women was saying within the documentary, explaining like why they feel liberated, and I did kind of understand it. Well, as men, we always the ones hollering, like that's always the thing. So at this particular event, this is where the women was able to do what they wanted to too. They didn't have to hold back. Like if they like a man and they see a man that they like, there was no stigma of them being like, hey, let me holler at you.
That's what they're liberated from, is the stigma in general. And that's like, I don't have to agree with the thing to necessarily be able to understand.
And that's how I feel about it. I don't agree with it. I actually agree more with what Real is saying, but
right. But like,
I get what they're saying.
Why it's called liberation? You're liberating from like
in our generation. In our generation, have we put that same stigmatization on women for like sexual liberation that like maybe our uncles and like the previous generation had? Are we? Because I feel like a lot of us are way more accepting.
So can I'll answer. I think passively we do. So like to pretend like we haven't been 2 seasons in of like a body count conversation and why if it does it doesn't matter.
That's just funny, but yeah, go ahead.
But does it have no root in anything?
Oh no! I speak how I feel. I think y'all speak how we feel.
And in general, like I say, I think that the younger you are, the more it matters. The older you are, you got to talk the shit because it's more important shit for you to care about. And that's just the reality.
I mean, you 17 with 20 bodies. That's wrong. Something wrong with you.
Well, that's why I said the younger you are, the more it matters. if you 35 with 20
you try
bodies,
to be liberated.
You better hope that she's just a good woman that ain't got 20 kids.
Bro. We just call it liberation, man.
No, I get what you said though. I think that's actually a discussion. Like, why is liberation all of it? I agree with what you're saying.
But you just go by the definition of what liberating means.
He's telling you why.
It's because like in general, there's not too many places where hedonism is sanctioned. Like it's kind of like the same thing. Like Like you can't have a fist fight anywhere you go, but imagine like there was a place where
we had a fight club. It's liberal.
Yeah, like,
but we also know that just having fist fights all the time isn't like healthy behavior. Just like having
that's why they do it on Freaknik or Bike Week.
But just like having fist fights with everybody isn't healthy behavior. Fucking just any and everybody you want to, man or woman, isn't healthy.
But nobody's saying have a permanent Freaknik. I don't think that's what they ever was. They just did it for a weekend.
But when he's talking about sexual liberation, it's like those concepts were like replicated. Like
you're talking like
do liberal and liberation go together? Liberal and liberation.
Kind of.
You know, I'm thinking about it because the more I keep thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, the liberals be on the wrong side of shit, but they doing it in the name of being liberated.
Like their names are like it has to go together. Liberal, like if you're a liberal, like liberation has to be part of like what you're.
Yeah, they're called liberals because of like the economic position they took where they feel like the free market should decide stuff. Like I don't know, like it's kind of like Orwellian.
That's not what they think. Cause they be adding all them taxes.
But that's
no, not
they call liberals because they think you should be able to live any way you want to.
I put inside the group chat before, but this is probably a conversation I do want to have at some point, in which on the like left, the quote unquote liberal side, there's a big divide between like just basic progressive. Well, not between progressives and liberals.
Right.
And typically progressives don't even fuck with liberals, and that's just the reality of it.
So I would just want to see what Google would say the definition of liberal was.
Okay.
So it says willing to respect or accept behavior or opinions different from one's own, open to new ideas. Then the second one says relating to or denoting a political and social philosophy that promotes individual rights, civil liberties, democracy, and free enterprise. So
does anybody disagree with either one of those two?
Nah, that actually puts some stuff in. It gives me some more thoughts, honestly.
Like,
what I'm saying is that,
Hold on. What I was gonna tell me I was right. Y'all let him.
No. What I was saying is that it also, when you say liberating, that sounds like a more liberal idea. The acceptance of.
Right. Do you think that you can be on the right and fight for liberation?
It depends on what you're trying to be liberated from.
That's the point. That's kind of what
I got a proposal for an unpack.
Like what would conservatives be liberated?
The easiest one would be black men from the Democrat Party. They're saying liberate yourself from the slave ship.
I guess
it's the reality.
I mean, that's a little stretchy.
Nigga,
Chill.
That's a bit stretchy.
It's a good topic, man. I want to think about this more.
With the part that stretches it.
To me, it's okay to say you say that
like
black
conservatives. Matter of fact, Trump literal picked for black people. Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
So you said black men liberating themselves from the liberal thought to a conservative thought is us liberating ourselves from being
liberate yourself from being a Democrat and become Republican. That's literally the Republican pitch in today. Trump stood up on stage and kind of said, "What else do you have to lose?" Literally, is the pitch.
I would have to think about it a little more.
I actually want to have this discussion, but I even got to think about this. Like, I got to break this down.
We ain't gonna get. I don't know if we're gonna get to my question. Maybe we'll get to my question. We ain't even made it to like anybody.
Yeah, that's I want to keep it moving to a degree.
But yes, like I said, my question was, why are black men leaving the left, and is the right any better? But don't answer that question. I wasn't asking. Answer at the moment. No.
Well, we like to move along. You don't think?
Well, I mean,
we might probably need to.
Yeah, we can. So we got the Freaknik, in which I guess we just said, I don't know what y'all said.
Now, there was a lot of stuff going on.
I think we deterred ourselves into a different other thing.
We should all liberate.
Well, we got to liberation, and I think that was the conversation there. Like,
Why you got smut out to be a liberal?
Yeah, that's
what real told me.
I think it's a good question where we got like 30 minutes to discuss it. I think that would be a good question.
Yeah. We'll get back to that. We'll circle back to that.
Let's go to the comments.
Okay.
All right, so back in here. Hey. Dang. You can go back to the original Woodstock. They said they were liberating themselves, and it was just a white version of Freaknik.
Big fact. Mm-hmm. That's what like every generation literally has the exact same thing. That's why I don't even put it on the A generation. It's just a 20-year-old thing.
The kids, bro, we like we've been sexually we've been holding in these sexual ideas and things that we've been wanting to do, and then you get 20 and you get out the house, and then so you just start throwing.
I agree. He just kind of he gave me a segue there for that whole Nickelodeon thing that happened this week with that documentary.
Now I ain't gonna say. Never mind. Go ahead. It's no pauses.
I think that was a good segue, kind of going into that, because like we was watching stuff that was sexualizing us, we didn't even know it.
Yeah.
So, okay, explain that. I didn't know that it was sexualizing us.
Okay, so
I didn't see the documentary. Throw us into what you're talking about.
Okay, so some of the stuff that was like some of the stuff that they're talking about in this documentary, like when you look at it, it's called Quiet on the Set. Yeah. Okay, so part of the stuff that was going on Nickelodeon, like when we was watching it as kids, we might not have realized it. But when I'm looking back at some of the stuff they were showing in this documentary of different shows that was on and different things that was going on, like Ariana Grande pouring water on herself and everything, some of the jokes that was going on,
licking her toes, and I remember watching that episode as a kid, thinking, "Damn, that's some weirdo shit." And then it comes out like as an adult, like
who was licking the toes?
Amanda Bynes.
The main,
it was actually like some legit. Like as a kid, I remember watching that thinking, "That's weird." Gotcha. I wasn't even like entertained, but then it comes to find out it really was.
Before we go too deep, keep giving like your synopsis so that we can have a conversation.
Okay, so basically what it came down to, there was a whole bunch of weird stuff going on, even down to the point where the main pedophile, there was a pedophile literally working there that was showing on TV. I don't know if y'all remember the skits on All That and Amanda show with Pickle Boy. Yeah, Pickle Boy. Like when I seen it, I was like, I remember this mug.
Explain Pickle Boy.
Pickle Boy just used to be on the scene. He was a grown man who just held a whole platter of pickles. And he would be walking around handing out pickles and stuff. If you see him, you'll probably remember. He was on the Amanda Show and All That all the time. Okay. But one of the scenes, this guy actually was passing a pickle through a glory hole. Mm-hmm. Like this is the stuff that was going on in front of us that we didn't know. But this was not to mention the stuff that Disney was doing. We ain't even getting into the subliminal messages they was putting in their cartoons and everything. But just I'm just focused. It go together. They really go together. Pinocchio, Lion King, all of the movies.
Little Mermaid.
You can go through all the movies, and they was selling us stuff.
I put it out with Happy Feet on my first time watching. On Happy Feet, when they went into the water, him and the girl went into the water, and they did every single sexual position. Mm-hmm. They were flopping over each other as they were sliding around. Every single sexual position, they did all of them joints right there, and then ended up in from the back. They ended from the back.
That's good. I like the end from the back.
Hey, no Diddy.
Yeah, but basically what it's coming down to is like we were overly sexualized and didn't even realize it. And how is that affecting us, or how has that affected the generations that we're raising even, or that have been watching us growing up?
Right.
I don't know how much like something like Pickle Dude throwing the pickle but in the glory hole. I don't know how much that really like affected people, because like I didn't know what a glory hole was back then. And if he was putting a pickle into a hole, I would have never like kinged in onto the thing. But what I can say is that like,
but there's a bunch of pedophiles that probably watched that.
Yeah, I'm talking about like as children. I think a lot of the things do go over our heads. They don't necessarily manifest themselves. I think some things may, but one thing that we can see is that like we're becoming, because it was already there, I think that we're becoming more and more extreme. Whatever we consider extreme is actually, it's not as bad as the generations continue. So that could be, you know what I mean? To me, like that could be like the big thing to like keep your eyes open.
Even looking at the Freaknik documentary, when I watched it, I was like, this wasn't as extreme as what I see nowadays. Yeah. I like it was light to me. Like with the stuff that I seen, some of the scenes in there, I'm like, this is light compared to what we get shown all the time.
I think the thing we gotta remember is like, it was extreme. Like back then in '96. To see some of the stuff that you saw in Freaknik.
Oh no, I agree.
It was extreme. So like, if we gonna talk about like today's time, I think the stuff we're seeing is still extreme. It's just
we're just desensitized.
And that's what I was about to say.
But that doesn't negate the impact of it, and it's still dangerous. Even if I don't necessarily be like, oh wow, that's something I shouldn't. But like as a kid who's never seen anything like that, the power of those images means a lot more than like to me somebody who's seen.
I don't think we have gotten more desensitized. I think it's actually the opposite. I think we have gotten more hyper aware of stuff because, like if you think about it, like our parents were around watching us watch that stuff, and like I don't think that anybody would like pick up on it or even be aware of it because like I was talking to my wife about this. Like, I mean, all of that and like Nickelodeon's one thing, but like if you go all the way back, like there were scenes of like Shirley Temple, like literally giving like old men lap dances. And,
but when our kids like we didn't have cell phones, so like we could watch some of that stuff, and our parents would be like, "Oh, cool," but like we couldn't go back and like go see all the behind. Where like the kids today, they can just see something surface level, and then go back and actually see like all the shit that really comes.
But it's like certain things that I don't think
level of access that this generation has that we did.
I get that, but like I think there's certain things that you can't get away with today because everybody is like, you have the power of the internet, so like someone can get your show, put it on YouTube, and 50,000 people will analyze it. Whereas like back in the day, like
my bad, Johnny.
Like you would have like you would watch episodes of like I don't know, like there's so many episodes of like cartoons like when we were kids, and it's like, wait a second, like what? Did we not see this? Did this go over everyone's head? But like I don't think we were all collectively analyzing what we were watching.
I don't think our parents was watching TV like parents would have you in front of the TV and it's like you watching the show. They catch it sometimes, but most of the time they're not really watching the show with you. They doing whatever they're doing. So like a lot of the stuff we was watching. Yeah, like if I think about it, like Dexter's Lab, when you think about Dexter's Lab and how all the jokes they had about his mom's butt, if you go back and watch it, we didn't catch that stuff when we was young. But as an adult, it's a lot of jokes. Like there was one where they had they had Dad's trophy written on her butt on one of the scenes. Like it literally it said Dad's trophy. Literally, like we didn't catch on to that stuff.
So you watched it, like there was like that one scene with like Nose Boy, and like.
Oh, you talking about the noses on his shoulder?
Yeah, and he sneezed.
Oh yeah. That was gross, bro. He literally had dick and balls on his shoulders.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't.
Yeah, nobody's nose looks like that.
Yeah.
No, like back in the day, I think everybody saw that, and it was like, I don't even think you thought of it, but like I think nowadays it's like, wait, that looks like that. Everybody knows what that is.
So you think people saw that then? And didn't think it looked like.
I think
you have to remember how people watch TV back then. Like you'll be coming in from a football game, basketball game, and then it's Nick, and then you're watching all that, and then in between like a commercial break, it will come on, and then you'll never see it again.
I think we have some people in place that are in charge of these different shows and who do different things that are actually trying to push stuff onto like. It's the same thing that's going on now. There are subliminal things in TV for kids where they're not going to look at certain stuff that we look at with the same eyes. Like it's going to be different for them. They're not going to have the same opinion we had about it because they've been taught in these shows that this is okay. This is normal. This is what this looks like. Like for instance, we wasn't showing a whole bunch of stuff in our cartoons with two dads and stuff like that, for instance.
But Coco Melon just had the two dad joint on blast on the joint. But Coco Melon's really unpopular. I don't know if you kids literally love Coco Melon. They got the two dad joint. But what I think is I think that they entertain themselves more than we catch it.
Yeah, all right. So I think that I'm gonna throw it right back to you. I think that was the divide what both of them were saying, in which like you were speaking about like the actual essence of it being there, and you were speaking about how impactful was it actually.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like the thing of it is where toss back to Jeremy. How was they just doing that shit to actually entertain themselves inside like their own pedophile way, or was it actually able to implant something inside of them?
Yeah, I think honestly, it was like, look what we can do. We can put it right in front of their face. They never saw all of those dicks. You know what I mean? So we got the hell all these dicks in this movie. They never see it. I bet you I can get this off. You know what I mean? Just entertaining themselves at a level and just laughing at our ignorance to what the thing actually is.
But like, look at the impact of that, and then that was just like, cause you
what
see,
impact?
Like from like Amanda Bynes and how.
Oh no, you talking about those people?
What impact did Amanda Bynes?
I'm talking about to us. Not her herself.
Not me, but I'm just saying
what you talking about?
that culture that existed there, it wasn't just at Nickelodeon. It was also that was the same culture.
All right, so now let's circle it back to like the Quiet on Set.
So just to say the effect that it did have on a lot of people that people not wanting to talk about. a lot of us have porn addictions. That didn't just like given that porn did take a precedence, a lot of us have porn addictions that we don't know was built into us subliminally. Like,
you know what I think it is? I think that a lot of us found our pops that VHS that was sitting over there.
Yeah, that's exactly
you watch Jason, because Jason was always killing somebody that was getting dropped
listen,
off. He was always murdering.
That's what I'm saying. Subliminal stuff.
Not
when you keep seeing something.
My second porn,
Nigga
definitely
scared
Pam Grier and Foxy Brown.
Right.
And then what was it, Coffee?
Foxy.
Listen, I had to like research all the Pam Grier, because one thing Pam Grier was going to do in the 70s
was show them titties. She was.
I ain't gonna but no, to the
y'all
point.
remember that movie?
Hey, shout out to Roger, because I snitched on him.
Oh, you gonna snitch on me?
Yeah.
My brother did that to me, bro.
Oh no! If
I
never came out, I would never.
Listen,
it was little brother stuff. Little brother's always snitching, bro.
I remember.
How you gonna get the benefit of it and then snitch?
Yeah, I definitely remember.
Different type. Yeah.
My little brother told can you tell Terrell to start watching that porn?
And now what it was, I'm gonna tell you what it was. Like, shout out to Roger, shout out to my brother. And I knew he. No, I heard.
He said his little brother told his mom, "Can you tell Terrell to stop
watching porn?" Yeah, y'all know Calvin too. Yeah, so
I know it. I get it. And like, so for me,
he was in trouble when he said it.
Yeah, bro, he had got an F on his report card, so he told on me.
What this got to do with it?
Like my mama said that first, and then he ran away after that. I was like, so you gonna run away?
He took the lunchbox.
Yeah, with the candy.
Hey, shout out to Calvin. Calvin a different nigga now. He feels like that nigga that be dancing on Instagram. But,
that's a wild boy.
Yeah,
don't compare my brother to Big Groove, man.
He built like him now. Stop! Don't act like he not.
He built like Big Groove, and then cheese like that too.
Damn, what was you just said? I was gonna make a point, but now y'all
talking about snitching on your brother.
Oh yeah, with porn. Nah. Because the reality was, I wanted to get to that PlayStation that was in the front room, and like we found Pops. You know what I mean?
The VHS.
And it had the thing on it.
Yeah.
And I remember. I don't know. I can't remember when it was. I remember it was early morning.
So he
Hold on, let me
place
get
that.
to it. Let me get to it. I remember if it was early morning, if it was late at night. It was one of the two. But like my thing used to be like I wanted to find the space where because we had like that one main TV, so you had to share it. And if you wanted to get on the game to do whatever, you had to get up early to get to it. You know what I mean? Or you had to stay up late. It was one of the two. And I remember coming down them stairs when I knew my parents was up there, and I'm like, all right, it's lit. I'm about to get on whatever.
Coming down the stairs, you sneaking.
And I see on that TV that thing happen because damn it. Walk back up them stairs.
And
I'm sorry, Roger.
And he's been getting us with the same games ever since. He's been killing us.
Nah, but yeah. My bad. I don't know how that circles back into that pause.
No Diddy.
Oh man, let's go over the comments real quick.
Okay.
In this generation, it seems this still. I didn't even get to this comment before we got out of Freaknik conversation.
Okay.
In this generation, it seems that roles have reversed. The young women seems to be more sexual than the young men are.
That's an interesting take. That's something I'm back.
I
think they're more sexual, but I think
they're more willing to express it. I think they always were that sexual.
Well, I think that
the more willingness of women to put sex out there, I think it makes men pull back.
I don't think that's what it is. I think that it's just a bunch of niggas that because of like the incel shit.
Young kids ain't chasing pussy the same way we were. Because it's so easy to get it. They don't have to chase it the same way.
You talking about it's easy for like. All right, when you say young kids, what are you talking about? What age?
Don't look at me because I have no. I don't know.
I'd say at least high school. That's what I'm thinking.
Like in high school, all the boys are still like. I get like right now. I see what the 9th grade and like 10th grade is because between like QJ's team and like say today, I was in the gym with him. It's like 10 9th graders. Some go to like Cannon, some go to like Chambers, some go to Garinger, and they're all in there, and they're inside a safe enough spot because like it's me and Wayne. Me and Wayne, we just working them out and shit like that, and it's just kids pulling up. And so But if you understand what I mean, but yes, I understand the call. Good call. But no,
No, Dan
so what
Snyder.
I will say is that they talk that same talk that we was talking when we was younger. Like me, Wayne, and some of the other, like we'll be an earshot away to where like they think that they inside their own little spot in their own little space, and you can see like it's always like different little things that you can see and be like, but Q, they on the same type.
Hey, but Q,
what?
You don't think the age they living in is more dangerous than the age we was living in?
In what aspect?
As far as access, as far as just
access
the
to
mindset of women nowadays.
Access to what? What do you mean?
To just being able to talk to women a lot more easier than it was for us to talk to them with Instagram and social media.
They're not like
and all that. It's a lot.
So I guess I'll say the women that they're talking to and dating and whatever, like, are the girls that go to their school. It's no different than us.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it, but like I said,
I don't think it's more. They have more outside community.
I know.
So maybe if you mean it by this, like if they have more free access to like talking to them on the phone, because like we had to call that phone and then like somehow coordinate like the perfect time because the dad and pop had to answer the phone and mom Dukes get to ask, and that shit might have came with something like, who are you? Or even why are you calling my daughter?
Or even
and
that
would be
video
thing,
chatting and FaceTiming and all that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you're meeting that, then sure. But they're not on Bumble and shit, bro.
Hey, you just said something that I just thought about. Do we need to go back to doing that? Like, I think there should be a level of, like, okay, so kids have phones nowadays, so don't nobody got to call and talk to the parents. So a lot of times you might not know who all your kids' friends are. But like back in the day, like the friend had to talk to the parent probably at some point. Like they called the house, yeah.
Or like you have to call and talk to people
or you was coordinating when their parents wasn't home.
That was another.
That was another thing.
If you was playing the game, you knew the game.
Or you wait till the real late night and she'd have the phone off hook and you'd call on call waiting so it wouldn't ring.
Game, easy game.
Boy, that was a.
I don't think you need a landline phone for the entire house anymore. Because if anything, you can do something that's even more invasive. Like you can set your phone up to like
see all the text messages.
Yeah, see all the text messages. You can put like a geolocation on your kid's phone. Like you can have your screen mirror to like a remote device, so you can see everything. You can intercept texts.
You probably need to do that though.
Yeah, you probably should.
That's like a built-in thing with AT&T. Like they can like, hey, like this picture has a ding-a-ling in it. Like, do you want to like?
How does AT&T know?
Because like if you think about it, like like it's
that's where I don't want. That's how you get caught up for pedophilia. You wouldn't even try to do that.
That's the thing. Like you can like there's all the images is a bunch of 1s and 2s and pixels, and you can kind of like teach a computer like.
So AI can pick that out without.
Yeah.
You have to use the prompt. You understand that AI. They good at everything.
Hold on. Without having human eyes, look at it. AI can detect.
Yeah, because like if you think about it, like for instance, like this picture, like it's a bunch of 1s and 2s. Like that's how the computer reads it. Bit. Yeah, it compiles it and then it pushes it up. So like you can teach it the equation of like this is what like
a penis looks like.
Yeah, this is what a ding-a-ling looks like. Oh my god,
a ding-a-ling.
Ding-a-ling.
It's funny.
My wife is watching. I don't want to be, but like. Yeah,
you was on live saying ding-a-ling.
hey. But yeah, like you can. It was like, for instance, like whenever
she heard what you would do if your body stopped working in the lower part. She heard.
We already had these conversations, but like if you think about anytime you log on and hey, are you a human? You're teaching the computer how to like what a bus looks like and what a bridge looks like. So,
but the reality is like
if you said what a what looks like
bridge,
a bus, a car.
Johnny, do you use your phone?
Okay.
Johnny, do you use your phone?
Yes.
Do you go to the Photos app?
Yes.
Have you ever like type if you go to your Photos app and search and put in a word, it will find that thing in your photos?
I try not to do that, but yes, I know.
Yeah, that's like that's literally what he's saying.
But you know something too, and I know this is just something that we had in the headlines that we haven't covered yet, and I know it's aside from the point that he was just talking about ding-a-lings. To another space here.
No Diddy.
No Diddy.
Talking about Candace Owens and
okay. Let's get.
It also goes to. They were saying that, and I was listening to what's his name? Keith Lamont Scott.
Yeah,
he was talking
Mark
about
Lamont.
it.
Oh, never
yeah,
mind.
Mark
Lamont Scott.
Mark Lamont Hill.
Yeah,
Hill.
yeah.
Either way, I had that nigga name wrong.
All the way wrong. Scott.
Either way,
He said Keith.
we got to
it kind of sounds like it
what he
makes
was
sense.
saying. What he was saying was. What he was
Yeah.
saying was that the network also was able to see that she had liked certain pictures on social media.
Yeah, so that's always the thing on Twitter.
Yeah, so the thing is that why
you don't like nothing on Twitter.
You know something too, bro.
There's a whole tab of your likes.
You know
on
how
Twitter.
rare it is that I actually like something on social media. Like I'm not a guy that like
Instagram. Cool, just don't do this shit on Twitter.
I don't really just like shit just in general. I don't have Twitter either. Bro, you got a Twitter, bro?
I've had a Twitter.
That's where he go watch his videos.
I bet you look like a tweet.
Yo, yeah.
You look like you tweet.
Hey, nah, listen. All right, so never mind. I ain't gonna jump off the ledge. I was gonna jump off the ledge, but
but yeah, I thought that was crazy that like they was like
this nigga know about Twitter. He
oh no, listen.
He know like that's why.
But never mind. I ain't gonna jump off the ledge.
He know about Twitter.
But
Y'all want to read these last two comments before we get too deep into the Candace Owens conversation? The guy who was Pickle Boy was on the show Head of the Class with Robin Givens. He was the heavyset kid. I was too young for Head of the Class. I ain't watch. Did y'all watch Head of the Class?
No, I'm not.
If you look at Popeyes, Olive Oil went with Brutus and Pluto, who were brothers, and also dated Popeye. So how did that make her look?
Nah, that's a fact. That was the whole theme of Popeye. When you think about it.
And they was all fighting over olive oil, pretty much.
Yeah, no, I think the Candace Owens thing is interesting. There's a bunch of different takes that I have with the Candace Owens thing. I guess to stay closer to where you're at. What I think is interesting is like she's on the right. She's a conservative. Daily Wire is conservative. Conservative in 2024 means free speech. Like that's a really, really big platform that typically, quote unquote, they stand on.
It's a right leaning thing.
Well, yeah, like that's a thing that they say all the time.
Yeah, they're full of shit just like everybody else.
But what I thought was interesting because of what Daily Wire is a hurricane-based organization, and I think the founder and the main guy, which is Ben Shapiro, they're all hurricanes. In which, for her, what she did was she took the middle ground. And if you're familiar with Ben Shapiro is heavy on like on the war that's happening right now. On side the Netanyahu side of the game. And like when I talk about like he's crazy ranks. You know what I mean? And for her, well, we're talking about Israel Palestine. I'm gonna just so Israel Palestine in which with her take is really down the middle, and her down the middle this is I care about people getting killed on both sides, and that's the take.
Children shouldn't genocide shouldn't happen in
general, and I'm pro innocent people dying across the board.
Right.
And
anti.
Yeah, anti. My bad.
Yeah.
I spilled drink on Johnny. Y'all know what that. Nah, but no. So anti, like genocide happening across the board, and with them, it's really like October 6th. October 7th. October 7th was a defining line where she had like rabbis on there, and pretty much. What they'll say is almost to the extent of like, if you had like on October 7th, was that a scenario that is worse than anything you've seen? Like I'm not sure what like the exact like wording of it is, but that's what it meant.
She was asking Jewish people.
No.
Hurricanes.
Hurricanes.
They were asking her.
Yeah, because of taking up for Palestine. If you're on the other side of it. Right now, on any way, shape, form, is especially when, like, say, Ben Shapiro, you get that thrown to you, and that's the word that it is.
Why wouldn't it be like anti-Israeli or like anti-against the nation?
Well, the issue is that right now, so much of it is fluid,
because
and then
I don't think she's against Jewish people in America.
I know, John. Let me just state it. I know where you're going, and you're waiting to jump on it, and I'm about to throw you the alley-oop. I'm just trying to like make sure I explain like the scenario out for like listeners or like if anybody's uninformed, to where they understand why she got fired and like the background to it.
Hey, watch that word too, Johnny, because they will flag.
Which is still hurricane.
Yeah, just use hurricane.
And that's what I was saying earlier. We did not say they word, but they can say our word, and we be, it's okay. But like what she was saying, it's like it's funny how being in the center could put you on one side or the other. If you say I'm not against innocent people dying on either side,
I think,
and then it just cause like, and it's like they act like that was just totally like one-sided and happened in a vacuum, and there was no context that preceded it, and that like the people who did, and like you say, the people who did it were wrong. Innocent people shouldn't die. If you got a political issue, killing random people is not going to solve your political issue. I don't think, like, no matter what your political issue, I would warn black people in America against that. If we want to, have a movement, we shouldn't kill innocent people. Like, innocent people dying for your movement.
What if they don't give you reparations?
Innocent people shouldn't die.
Oh, okay.
And that's one thing, like, I would warn. I'm a political motherfucker. I understand, like, the passion behind some of this stuff. But, like, innocent people on either side shouldn't die. Now, for Israel to act like that happened in a vacuum without a whole bunch of things that preceded it, like the blockade of Gaza, the settlements in the West Bank, for them to act like that's not a thing that preceded this attack is crazy to me. But
Alex, you got something?
Well, just to kind of like go back to like why Candace Owens got fired and why I think that's significant. It's kind of like, I think Candace Owens getting fired kind of is like a reminder to everybody that like, kind of like when you watch wrestling and you know what kayfabe is, and it's like, well, obviously,
I don't know what that means.
Kayfabe is like, obviously, we know we're playing, this is scripted, but you dare not say that to anybody else. Like, you better not that, like, you better not say that Undertaker is like an actual, like, just a regular dude. Nah, Undertaker's like actual, like, he came from the grave.
Came back.
So like that's what I'm saying. Like Candace Owens is like
she's breaking the third wall to an extent.
Well, she's not breaking the third wall. Her getting fired kind of showed you like what she was always supposed to be from the get go. Like the right
wasn't ever there.
The right isn't about free speech. The right is about it's pretty much, hey, we want to say what we want to say, and this is a good umbrella, a good blanket to put everything under. But at the end of the day, once Candace Owens was starting to say like things that like, hey, we don't pay you to say that. We don't pay you to say all this.
Ben Shapiro said, what he say? If you don't agree with my Israel take or something like that, go quit. Because they want to stay under the guise of like free speech. Mm-hmm. They ended up firing her, but you got to push her to quit.
But at one point, they were trying to like have her on there as like, see, we have a variance of opinions and stuff like that. But like, like after a while, like it started to get to the point where, hey, like we don't pay you to say that. Kind of like where, like, I don't know, like Vince McMahon, if they were doing like hey, like this is a script that we have for this season. Like The Rock is gonna fight Stone Cold. This is gonna happen. And imagine that Stone Cold's like, yeah, we're gonna tell them that Rock is like, he has a movie coming out. Like that has nothing to do with wrestling. Mm-hmm. That's what happened to Candace Owens.
She went off script. Yeah,
she went off script, and she didn't serve the purpose that she needed her for.
Well, like, I think Candace been also feeling the pressure from like black people to like.
I don't agree with that, but I want to. We're gonna see if that's gonna be a unpack.
The thing I think too is that I think that this was the thing that she needed. I think that this is very much healthy for her and where she, because if we notice, and this is something that I think that as the black community, or at least the intellectual black community, is going through the same thing that I think that the same process I think many of us here have done. You go from being asleep, and then you go into the information, right? You get into the information, let's say Hidden Colors and all of these different books and autobiography from Malcolm X, and you start doing all this research, getting all this information, and then you become angry. Mm-hmm. And then you go through that angry phase, and then you start looking at yourself and then the people around you, and you start thinking about what the fuck, we're doing and how we're affecting ourselves. And then it's like, now you get to, as you kind of go through that, then you start to become, you're like, damn, okay, well, am I conservative? You know what I mean? If you're, thinking,
well, if you become solution based,
if you if you become solution, you know what I mean? You start to get to a point to where it's like, dang, because if you think about when she was up there with T.I. and they had that back and forth where Killer Mike was up there and all of them. I don't remember what the name of that.
I know it was the Revolt.
It was on Revolt.
Yeah, that joint. When she was saying that time and before that, when you were hearing her, it sounded like she was just regurgitating these things that were like just like digging at the black community, and you looked at her like a Uncle Tom if he would have.
I like her then,
but like
a lot of us as a community, we didn't like her then, but then it was like, hold on, now we're starting to, you know what I mean? We're thinking more, and so now she's becoming more as time has come, we've become more. God damn! Can I just finish real quick? We've started to like her a little bit more as we've.
I don't know
as the time has come. No, what I'm saying is that based in like the people that are around me, maybe not in the people around you, but like I've seen a lot more like for her than like before it was like everybody fucking hated her. So and then now it's like people are coming around to her much more than they were at that time.
I got a quick question, and then I guess go building off of what Rel said. So are you pro or against Candace Owens?
You
me?
Yes. Quick, just pro or against?
I'm against.
All right, cool. So let's pause that right there. So what you were describing, and I think that it's something like maybe we'll get to unpacking this right now, or we can kind of like save this for like an unpacking something else. I do think in the past 2-3 weeks, Candace Owens has made a very intentional push towards different. It's black and it's like it's a different community.
Not mainstream.
Well, no, she's also did black because she did Joe Budden, she did Breakfast Club, but she's also did Fresh and Fit, and she's did Destiny, and which that's like more like the liberal-ish type thing. But like she's to me, the press run she's on makes sense. The fact that like she understood and knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And then when I was listening to
it, it needed to happen for her to be what she was trying to be.
Yeah,
it needed to happen.
And what I was watching the Breakfast Club interview, and I wrote down this question, and I was gonna go to it, but then her getting fired made even more sense, and I was like, damn, is she making her message more palatable for black people? Because when she was on the Breakfast Club, she was like she really made it very palatable.
And they had her singing the Fresh Prince intro
and
everything.
But even
that was on them though, so it wasn't her.
Yeah. Well, but even like her talking points were softened in comparison to what she had been, and she hit on the points that she knew was going to make sense for the demographic, and how to like kind of like skirt around different things that I've seen her on when she's on Valuetainment and white publications. Sometimes she leans harder on different points, and I thought that was interesting, Johnny.
Well, I was gonna say because this kind of leads into my question a little bit.
I had memes I needed to get off, but go ahead.
But no, I just want to like maybe we could pump the brakes on Candace Owens.
Oh, pump it, okay.
And because we probably go, if we get to my question, we'll come back to it because I think a lot of what we're seeing with Candace Owens kind of leads into some of the questions I've had, for the black community. So I don't want to beat it up too much. Then when we get to my question, there ain't no meat left on the bone, no Diddy.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna do one meme because I think that we maybe got 30 minutes left on the pod, right? So I mean, not one question, but one meme. But Tone. Look, we got some comments. Let's run those down.
Okay.
We got a few of them.
I got it here. I honestly think that it was time for her to renegotiate her contract, and they parted ways because she wanted to go off on her own. Just my thoughts. Unc say to have sympathy for Candace Owens to me is like having sympathy for Wendy Williams. The two of them did injustices towards people, and when things went wrong towards them, now they want sympathy. I don't know if I agree with that. I had to.
Keep going.
I don't have sympathy. I don't think she was fired. I think she used this to her advantage.
Click it to the crowd.
Oh yeah. I don't have sympathy. I don't think she was fired. I think she used this to her advantage.
And so, Johnny, before you go, I think that I've been like debating like this topic for Unpack, but I think that this would be really fire. The curious case of Candace Owens and the Black conservative content creators, and like the dance that they play. And I hear it a little bit. Listen, Wednesday it's an open call show. I've been actually looking for some people that are anti-Candace because right now there has been a real big Black conservative swing. So a lot of people that is easy to meet, not easy to meet, easy to bring on, ends up being fairly conservative. So yeah, I think this is a good conversation to completely unpack.
And you know something that I think that also it's easy for middle class African American males, and that's what I mean. You know what I mean? We're kind of that's like when we start picking our homies, and you know what I mean. These guys tend to be more in the, you know what I mean. We're not like. I think that's what's happening within that. Look, the middle class. I heard they were saying like middle class now like 170,000 or some shit.
Well,
I'm not talking about that. I ain't talking about this new middle class. I'm talking about what we would perceive the niggas that got their lives kind of put together in a certain way. You're seeing that these guys are becoming more conservative. A lot of these guys are learning, you know what I mean? I do have more conservative values. And that's what and then we also starting to see that they like more accountability, because in order to get to the place where you had to have accountability. And so you start to look at other people and see that there's a level of accountability that we have not been taking. And so it makes it easy for, you know what I mean, people that are doing fairly well to transition over to that more conservative, which I think we were already there. We just didn't look at ourselves in that way. And we looked at conservative, that was like a demonized thing. Because conservative automatically means Republican, and Republican automatically means racist. And you know what I mean? And we kind of put these things together and connect these words. That's like when we talked about Trump, when y'all talked about Trump on the Unpack. You see that automatically we got Confederate flag and racist. You see what I'm saying? These things and people automatically tailor a thought process, and it's easy to connect them to certain lanes of thought. And we kind of either go with or stay away from, you know what I mean? Either we go with or stray away from those ideas.
And I guess like to go to what you're saying, or to I guess respond to what you're saying. I do think that there is an interesting distinction that should be made about the new current day left liberal Democrats think and are for, and what previous versions of them were for, and what previous versions of like Republicans were for, in which the line of what middle has been pushed way left. So like I said, that's something when making that conversation where like if you were like a conservative Democrat in the past, what did that look like? And did that look like what modern day conservative looks like right now?
I see what you're saying.
And that's something to go to, but
I don't. Okay,
go ahead.
I mean that could be that could be I'd be hating because I be wanting to be on.
We do got a couple of comments too that can take
these
this.
Type of topics for the show too, because I be wanting to
start with to be clear.
We have a smoke.
Oh, to be clear.
I was skipping that for a reach time, but I got you. We had already read it, what she said. But she said, I don't have sympathy. I don't think she was fired. I think she used this to her advantage, which to be clear would be a very smart marketing move for her.
True. Hey, now,
I mean, she's finally free.
I'm gonna wait for it. Don't worry about it.
All right. She said, I like Candace. I don't agree with anything anyone says, but she talks about some things that need to be talked about.
I do too.
Well, she said,
time you watch Candace Owens.
I think she would say she doesn't agree with everything anyone says, and that's
important. She said I don't agree with anything. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was everything anyone says, and that's kind of why I stand to it.
Yeah.
But, all right, so why do people expect to agree with everything
somebody 100%?
But I also
because they sheep.
Let's actually go through this comment before you say that, because you're gonna like this. I'll say. I'm just a realist. Candace is just pandering now, and most people are just falling into her web of deception. To which Tara replied, everyone says everyone else is pandering. Pandering to who? She hasn't changed her stance on anything that I've seen. I may not be understanding how you mean it. And I actually agree with that.
Hey, Unc, you got 2 minutes.
Yeah, but I do agree with that. Like sometimes when people be saying people is pandering, it'd be like, do you realize they're losing more than they're gaining? Like, how is that pandering?
Maybe not. I think that she has a base, and she can definitely gain from like a
so
like
this is the
new
thing,
black
though.
conservative audience.
This is the thing that's happening though. I agree with what Tar said as far as Candace hasn't changed anything. She's been saying the same thing. Y'all go back and look at what she was saying. She been saying the same stuff. Nah, niggas just ain't like what she was saying because they didn't want to hear, oh, the father's not in the family and stuff like that.
Let him exercise. Hey, what's the change?
So, like, 100% that is not true because when Candace Owens first started off, she was a liberal. Like, not just liberal, like a progressive in the sense that her main claim to fame is that she wanted to make a website to dox people, to police your speech. So,
she walked that back on the Breakfast Club.
She did. Well, like what I'm saying is, Candace Owens, if you're looking at her for what she is, she's an opportunist. Like, I think she says a lot of things that might have merit to it, but if you're ultimately looking at why she's saying it and where she's saying it from, it's ultimately coming from a
that's the other thing though.
But like it's ultimately coming from a place of, like, what do you need me to say? Think about it. She started at Turning Point USA, then she went to PragerU, then now she's at Daily Wire, now she's on her own thing. The ultimate thing, the through line for all of them is she says whatever they need her to say.
She a pimp.
To us.
Who is they?
Like I said, Turning Point USA.
He gave you a couple.
PragerU.
I'm trying to clarify.
PragerU and then Daily Wire. Like, Candace Owens, at no point in time did she get in trouble for saying anything about the terrible stuff she said about George Floyd's situation.
But it was, I'm not going to go there.
But the minute she said something about, now she's canned. Because she was only there to say what they needed her to say. I get what you're saying, but like, there's plenty of black women conservatives who've been a part of the movement, been talking the same points that Candace been saying forever, but they don't get nowhere near the platform because they actually tie it to a black experience.
Because they're not saying the stuff that's actually okay. So this is where we defer. Like, I think Candace has been saying stuff that black people were scared to say, and like this is a thing of where black people treasure blackness over everything. Like, black over being righteous, black over doing the right thing, black over like we want to take up for shit that just be wrong. Like Candace just been saying the same stuff over and over again. That's basically along the lines. I don't think she's speaking for anybody. I think she's been speaking for herself. I mean, I don't see no reason why, especially like up until recently, a lot of people didn't like her. So what benefit was it having? Like, white people or black people didn't like her. So it's like, what benefit?
Before y'all get into it, I would like to pose this. What both y'all doing on Wednesday? About 9:30. I would love to have this conversation fully unpacked. Because of,
I think that's the plan anyway.
Yeah.
Be in the way.
Along with that, I want to talk about Ice Cube too in that conversation. I'm with you on Wednesday.
I'm there. I think that this is probably like there's about an hour worth of conversation exactly where y'all are.
Sure. Mm-hmm. We could keep going
and keep going. I'd love to get to y'all two questions. I think we done missed the match when it comes down to memes right now, but we can get to a question or two. But I like the energy of where y'all both are at. In which, if y'all both are free on Wednesday, I love both of y'all for the unpack. Well, we can talk about the curious case of Candace Owens and the conservative black content creator.
Not all, just at the end is Brian.
Go ahead and put
a cap on it. I think that like, I wonder. I can actually see that you are someone that has followed. You actually are someone that pays attention to what's going on. So you know the networks and things that she's gone to and kind of where her plight stood, where it stood versus where it is now. Yeah. And to me, and I understand what you're saying. For me, I also agree with what Tone said as well. It's like just to see that, like when she was talking to the priest and when she was also talking about the president of is it France? The one that has she on the Breakfast Club, they really went into it. Just
you talking about like the person being a man?
Being a man, like, so the thing is that like she
that's
literally
the dance that she got.
She's literally like, and I mean, I did follow. I went and looked at the
and there's no recent pictures and shit like that.
No, I went and looked at the actual. There's a documentary that was made that the people that she was talking about, those the journalists. The journalists, they, like, what it is that it's almost like the idea of like conspiracy. I honestly, I think that I believe that she's evolved, but it's also her stance has kind of always been where because I always give I give people the ability to evolve over time. So I don't want to say that where you came in, you should stay there, and if you move from being there, then you're just pandering and trying to put your audience to make it fit. You know what I mean? I can't really go to there because I'm finished.
He put the
and so I think that like
I know he's engaging you.
We also have to give people the room to change their opinions and to grow and to to provide a better understanding of who they are. Because if you look at me from season 1 to now, you could make a case that I didn't. You know what I mean? I was much more liberal. I felt like I was much more liberal season 2 years ago.
He used to say he is submit. Now he ain't submitting to nobody.
That's true. That's true. The way that we were using language, I was okay with it because I felt like it was healthy. But then, as I kind of the last 2 years, I'm like, nah, that ain't what I'm. You know what I mean? So you gotta give people.
What's his name? Officer Tatum.
I believe you have to give people the opportunity.
I don't know. Some people submitting now.
Let's proceed. Let's go through these comments and we can proceed forward with whatever y'all want to do.
I think we're gonna do what? One question. Who question?
We'll figure it out.
One of y'all is good. Have y'all want to break it down?
Unc said, and Unc and Tara G, y'all definitely should pull up Wednesday, like in the comments. Yeah, so we can finish breaking it down because we're not gonna break down these comments right now. But I'm gonna read.
I'm gonna apologize because we were supposed to be having that conversation of providing the additional footage of the LGBT.
Yeah, ain't nobody input into the school system.
Nah, it's coming. I just ain't had time this week.
I did not type in LGBTQ in none of my Google searches this week.
I already knew. Yeah,
right.
We didn't do it.
And then even I don't even want to put. I'm gonna clarify. I don't even want to put the LGB in there, but we'll get to that later. Let's see.
Oh, we going for the T's. Okay.
We'll get to it later.
I don't know who we got.
I'm sorry, but of course we aren't against anybody and their choices when it comes down to whatever you want to do. But it is hilarious when you use the say the individual letter. Oh, you going after the.
The T's. Candace said all the things she said towards people like George Floyd.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna say what I think about it. And anything that was going on during that time when Black Lives Matter BS was starting. Now she has Black Love. Yeah, we gonna discuss that on Wednesday. That's Wednesday.
She talk about BLM within that conversation.
If you got some strong anti-Candace, I think it's gonna make for a really good conversation. I'm gonna just moderate.
Tar said, again, I don't expect the man in pink to agree with anything Candace thinks. Also, he had to go with his
you gotta roll with the punches.
She said, also, if you knew her story, you would know why she became a conservative. People can change their views.
I know her story. She sued the NC. No.
Tar, pull up on Wednesday. We're saving it for Wednesday, bro. They were fine with Candace speaking things that people from their nationality were afraid to say, but once you see something about the hurricane, the storm came for real. Then that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I think that it is a personal issue to Ben. I think they fought on Twitter for marketing and views. If they were going to fire her for it, wouldn't they have done it at the beginning, like 3 months ago? I also don't think Ben should have snapped about it. But wasn't he in Israel when it happened? I might be wrong, but I know he was trying to get back. So no doubt that October 7th was going to be personal. Shayna said, I love you, Johnny P. Johnny L.
Single Johnny.
You supposed to say you never back.
Yeah.
Okay. That was something you already knew about.
Oh, this man, Johnny P.
Come on, real. Don't pull it
off. You got
so y'all.
No, it was just it.
So do we have rock paper scissors for the topic?
He don't want it.
Okay, so we're going on who we gonna rock paper scissors for who choosing who topic.
No, whose topic goes.
No, because my thing is I might want to use your topic.
Then if you want to use
it,
my
topic,
but I want to whoop your ass.
If my topic just like that,
if my topic just
get your ass up out of here.
I knew I was going to lose that. I didn't have no confidence going into it. See?
We can go around this question.
Okay.
Go ahead, bro.
So my question, I think, is kind of fitting with where we're the Candace Owens question, but it's how do I kill the nigga in me? And we've had these conversations over the last couple of weeks about our values, and as black people, if we gonna get to where we want to go, we have to switch our value system. Mm-hmm. And as a nigga that didn't grow up, as a nigga, there's certain things that I value, certain things I was taught. We go like no snitching. I've been an advocate of, be able to snitch. But growing up, that was something that like you're not supposed to do.
You said you snitch now.
Yeah, you do something wrong.
I just want to make sure that's what you I was just making sure I understood what you were saying.
If y'all some criminals,
that nigga sound like Charleston White. Yeah. I'm a snitch. I'm a snitch on you. Do something around me.
Yeah. Nah.
Go ahead. But like, as a black man, that's something growing up. I was like, yeah, you ain't supposed to snitch. It's wrong. But knowing what I know now, it's a whole bunch of people in people's families that then got off doing fucked up shit because of no snitching. A whole bunch of uncles that then molested, your cousins and stuff, and we didn't tell on them because us as black ain't supposed to snitch. And it's like, at what point are we gonna like let go of some of these values that are in reality more detrimental to us than helpful for us? And we talk about we wanna, we tired of talking about the white man. We tired of talking about white supremacy. Then we gotta call out the bullshit that we doing in the ignorance in the black community. If I can't say that where we at is because of white people, then it's because of us, and I gotta be able to call out that bullshit.
Hold on. Before you go too far, I want you to answer your own question. How did you? Because I'm assuming with the question that you feel like you have kind of, what do you say?
It's a process.
Or pulled back.
It's still a little nigga. It's still a little bit of this nigga in me. It's like it's a process. It ain't like something where you like. So I'm done, but like a lot of it is experience, getting around, getting out the hood, getting around. Like you said, I went PWI. I went to HBCU, so going PWI, I got to see a lot of things that maybe the average black person don't get to see. I got to be around certain white people that the average black person don't get to be around, and I've learned certain shit, and I've seen certain shit that they care about. And certain shit that they don't care about, and I look at us, I'm like, damn, we care about that shit.
Yeah.
They don't care about, and look where they at, and we still holding on to this shit, and look where we at. So there's certain things that we have to let go if we gonna get to where we want to go.
Like reparations.
No, that ain't one of them ones.
So, bro, let me ask you this.
That ain't one of them ones.
That was a Johnny joke.
Oh no, I get it. So, do you have a proverbial nigga in you?
I would say.
Oh, I just thought of
No,
Diddy.
When you put proverbial, it's kind of like
it made it even more.
What I would say is that, like.
And then how did you get rid of it? If you did have a proverbial nigga.
No,
or do you still got that proverbial nigga?
To be completely honest, I don't think that I got rid of it. I think that
you learned to cope with that.
He's matured. He's matured.
But he's still a nigga.
No, I mean, when he still knows where he came from, and I know that, like, yeah, I came from right off Bradford, right in front of Thomasboro, Ravenwood Hills. I was born in Greertown, Ravenwood Hills, right off Bradford. I know where.
But I think that when Johnny speaks about the proverbial nigga in you, he's speaking about the ignorance, correct? Like, when are we gonna let the nigga go?
The ignorance and
the ignorance that is associated with a lot of the beliefs. Negative pieces of black culture.
And this is the thing. I think that I think that all, like, even the reason why we praised all of the things that we praised is because of the hood part. It's because of where you came from. You were seeing these things, and then it's like, oh well, these people are still talking about the stuff that I was. You know what I mean? It's we glorify the struggle. We just glorify the struggle.
But my question is, how do you, like? I get that we glorify, but how do you not? Like how do you like live in that neighborhood and then not glorify that?
So you have that proverbial nigga in you?
I want to kind of push back against this premise altogether.
Uh-oh.
But listen, like the reason why the reason why I want to push back on that premise is because it kind of presupposes that there's something wrong with you, apart from you just living the normal human experience of like growing.
But we've talked a lot, like, and you might not have been privy.
No, I get
to some of the conversation, but we've talked about like
this is the idea. I like this.
The concept of like the space that we're in. Is it because of white people, or is it because of us?
That's the thing. Like,
and if it's because of us, then we have to call out this bullshit.
But like, listen to like what you're saying. Like you're almost like it's like the premise of like an alien horror movie where there's something in you that you need to get out of you. Whereas you need to understand that you already had that stuff in you to be the good person that you aspired to be. You just didn't have the life experiences to get there yet.
But
there's nothing.
It ain't the good shit.
But
Can I? But like for me personally, like my pops a prince. Like
I get that, but
you gotta tell you a scenario. See,
no, I get the scenario. It's just like
he didn't give you the scenario yet.
No, I heard.
No, listen to him, really.
But it's like my pop's a principal. My mom's accountant. Like a lot of that like nigga shit that you talking about or that I'm talking about. It was learned. It wasn't nothing that like was preached into me. It's something that like going to public school, trying to fit in, trying to feel like there was instances as a kid where I felt like I'm too white to be in this situation, and so I adopted a lot of that shit. Not that I grew up.
This is what I'm saying, Johnny. Like the premise that I'm pushing back on is just the inherent belief that there's something there's something corrupted in you that you need to expel out of you in order to be something else. But listen to what I'm saying. Like your ultimate thing that you're saying is, well, look at how we are. Like, listen, like put black people in America and in the general North American context in the proper context. Like, we're victims of history. So you're like, listen.
I agree.
But listen to what I'm saying. Like, we're essentially victims of past acts of history, not us necessarily, but our ancestors. So essentially looking at the condition that we're in now is, I hate to say it, like I don't want to sound like a virtue signaler for terror, but like it's essentially like you're victim blaming. Like we are where we are because of things that happened to our ancestors that we're still trying to fix and change to this day.
Let me get it.
Change to this day, but like we aren't. There's nothing corrupted in us. We are just in a corrupted system that we are trying to navigate on our own.
Let me ask you this, because you saying this, like we.
I think what I'm saying is.
Yeah. Okay. So like we're victims. Like okay, cool. But like, as like if you had like a daughter or something like, well, I'm not even gonna go down that route. But like, if you are a victim, like you saying I'm victim blaming, and because of like how I'm feeling. But like as a victim, what's the only way you're gonna get out? It's only on your own responsibility. You can't lean on the oppressor to help get you out. It's only gonna be on your own accountability.
But the thing is, it's like
that you're gonna be able to.
It'll be different if what you were saying is, hey, like we're in this on non-ideal situation. How do we get out of it? Oh, let's pull ourselves together. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do that. Instead of, hey, we are in this situation because we are corrupted inside, and therefore we should deserve this.
Hold on. I never said.
Let bro go, because I want to hear his take.
It's too many people talking.
He gonna say it though.
Hold on. So this is my thing. You just said that you're victim blaming, right?
Yeah.
But then what you did was victim blaming.
Huh.
You blamed the white man. You were talking about the things that our ancestors went through. That's what you just said. You said things that our ancestors went through that brought us to be where we are currently, right?
So let's unpack this, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we are acknowledging that we're in a non-ideal situation as a black community, right? Okay. Are we going to deny history?
See, my thing
like that. Ultimately,
you usually right.
He actually
is what Johnny usually.
I won't understand why Johnny got so much. Okay, but listen, this is my thing is that.
But like that's all I'm saying is like what the metrics that I'm assuming that you guys are talking about is our pretty much our uncompetitiveness in a capitalistic society, right? So why are we where we are?
No. See. This
but Alex, how are we going?
Well,
like if there's anything that's gonna make us get out of that, who
exactly?
But who is it gonna be on? It's gonna be on us.
It's gonna be on us. We already intrinsically have the tools.
Hey, Alex,
something that we have.
Alex, Johnny, real. I'm gonna try and moderate it. I'm gonna try and stay out of it. I think this is the fire conversation. So Alex asked real a question. I think it'd be fire.
Oh, real quick, Tar said you basically just asked how can we better, and Pink Shirt goes full victim. How is asking how can you be better victim blaming? Everyone should ask themselves that.
I don't.
Let
me get this off. I don't know how anyone who's proclaiming to be pro-black or for the black community, I don't know how you're going to have any comprehensive synopsis of what we need to do moving forward if you don't take into account why we are where we are.
Okay,
it's talking about redline. Is that victim blaming?
No. Hey, listen.
I agree with that.
But we gotta be able to have like the conversation with like it's a little bit of a back and forth between two. A little bit. I think that y'all kind of like have it right now.
I'm trying. So listen. I and this is my thing. We actually and this is something that I ain't gonna say it. We've been having this conversation at different levels for like months right now at this point. And so what we've been coming to is the question has become like, just like last week, we said that, okay, do we want to continue to talk about slavery as the reason that we are where we are now? My thing is that you ain't even got to go back that far. There are multiple things we can sit here and look at to say why the black community is where the black community is right now. But the thing is, outside of, you can sit like I said 2 weeks ago, Navy Federal just got for the mortgage loans that they was denying black people. Wells Fargo paid out hundreds of millions of dollars for the mistreatment that they were doing, you know what I mean, to black people. We can use all of these different things. But my thing is, I believe that you can sit there and blame. We can talk about the system. We don't have to go back and talk about like what the ancestors went through and all that. We can look at where we are today and start looking at the things that we're doing. It's no need to sit there and go back and because when you become a victim, that means that you can't change the thing. If you admit that you're the victim, then there's no way for you to actually
let's remove the word victim from it. Okay, I think that's a charged word. All right, but let me ask you a question. Well, how did you get here today? You drove, right?
Right.
Let's say you got in an accident.
Mm-hmm.
What's more important? You making sure that you're safe, you're alive, and you're all in one piece, or getting your claim for your car that's now totaled? Which one? You being safe.
Right.
But now that you're safe now,
mm-hmm.
and you're like, let's say, hey, we're gonna fix your car. Can you even go through the steps of fixing your car without then retelling somebody like, I was driving down this road, this random ass dude who was drunk, he hit me. My car is totaled. Can you even begin to fix your car without even going through the steps of how your car got broken in the first place?
Right.
You can't, right? So that's all I'm saying. Like you cannot have any comprehensive synopsis of what we need to do as a community if you don't say like, hey, we are here because of X, Y, and Z. How do we move forward? Doing anything outside of that is going to completely result in a blunder.
Hey, I tap out. I agree with
hold on. That's fine. My thing is that we've been saying what the problem was for how fucking long? How long do we... Hold on, let me finish. I'll let you talk in length just now. So how long does it take for us to continue to regurgitate the history until we sit here and actually... Because I think that we already know if anybody that's studied, anybody that's actually paid attention to what's going on, like I said, you went from not knowing, then you go into the hidden colors and go into the autobiography, all of these different readings and all these different movies and all these different documentaries. You go through all of this learning, it makes you angry. Then you start to see where it is that you've changed, where it is that you're kind of changed you provided you are a result of your decision making.
Yeah.
Once you get to that point, you start to see that, hey, my homie actually is a result of his decision making as well. Then my nigga over here, he's a result of his decision making as well. And then you sit there and be like, so why the fuck are we still talking about the white man when I just saw this nigga? I've been knowing him for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I done saw him jump off the bridge, and then on the back end of jumping off the bridge when it claimed he
it was white man.
No, I've been watching you.
So before we go any further, two things. So a theme of the show is accountability. I can't talk today. Accountability versus empathy, in which this is kind of where we're at the precipice of. two, I would like to say that we had a fire spot. I really enjoy like the conversation.
I love it too.
Well, it's because of like the reality is that we're talking about what is best meant for the progression of Black people, and we're inside a space in which we don't often get inside where it can be healthy and where it's a good faith conversation. And y'all did bring listen. In 3, Alex had a question. You said you had one question.
Yeah, I had one question, bro. Like, and let's go back to the car crash, right? Mm-hmm. You're driving down the street, like you're not blaming the white man. You're not blaming anybody. Like you literally have to say what happened to fix it, right? Mm-hmm. So what you're saying, like, okay, I got in a car crash, like someone hit me, right? That would be the same thing as like, well, like redlining and discrimination and segregation.
Well, we don't have
and wait. But like at the same point, what the little piece of your feeling is like, we acknowledge what the problem is. There's absolutely nobody doing anything about it. Mm. And now what you're ultimately saying is we are now like our best option is to fix a problem that we didn't create all on our own by ourselves.
It is.
Yeah, TV about to turn on.
I do think it's the best issue. Yeah. I do think that's the best solution though.
And see, but even in your example of the scenario that you created, see, this is the thing. Like, I think that if you go back and you, like you say, look at the history and you know what, and you say that pretty much that there's no one doing anything. Well, I mean, we can't wait for the government to change this because they did get money from the Wells Fargo thing. They did get money from Navy Federal thing. They did get money from what it is that they sue these companies that are being predatory towards the Black community. Yeah. And then the government gets money, and then there's nothing. This is happening for years. So in your scenario, it's a difference when you sit there and you got into the car accident, you're telling the story, but you didn't admit that you were drinking. If you don't admit that you were drinking,
hold on,
then you go in.
But I wasn't drinking.
No, I get what he's saying though. With the analogy you use.
Your example.
But all Black people ain't drinking.
That's what I'm
Come on.
All Black people.
I ain't saying all Black people are drinking. What I'm saying is that
when he's making an example of like when it's representing Black people, for you to say, well, what about you?
No. See, I keep going back to individual. See, I think that one of the biggest problems is we're thinking macro before the micro, right? So you can go and think community, but you can't. If I'm selfish, and you're selfish, you're my neighbor, and then our neighbor's selfish, there is no community. But what I'm saying is that the thing is that if you want somebody to actually stand up and do something for the community, the reason why we keep on getting these people that supposedly doing something for the community, the BLM, all of these different things, is because there's no community. So if we actually sit and build the community, our individuals to actually care for the community, build the level of accountability, then we can build an actual community that's set on a foundation to where you can actually get these people that actually care and have the moral compass.
I don't mean to cut you off, brother, but I'm gonna let you on the secret. Do you think any of the Black men in this room aren't doing what you're saying?
Aren't doing what I'm saying, holding themselves accountable?
Yeah.
Radical tactics about
this. For sure.
Okay, so like everybody in this room is doing what they're supposed to do. As
hold up, right? I want to answer on that though, so because he can't speak for everybody necessarily. I definitely do not do, like, I'm doing better, but there are definitely areas in my life where I haven't been accountable, where I had to realize that later on. Like,
yeah, like there's room for growth for everybody. But what I'm ultimately telling you, real, like, I'm just gonna spoil the movie for you. I honestly believe if every Black person under some perfect circumstance was the ideal model minority that everybody wants them to be, the problems that we face will still exist because they have nothing to do with any respectability politics or how we carry ourselves.
I think this is a good point. Hold on, I want to get back to your question.
No, time out. I got a question.
Hold up. This gonna go with you, Johnny. This gonna go with you, Johnny.
More so moderating. I think that Johnny, I got you. But
this gonna go with.
I think that Tone hadn't spoken for a second. They had their ISO. Then we'll go Tone and we'll go Johnny.
All right, so Johnny, just back to your original question. What was your original question?
I don't even remember.
It was about the proverb, basically about how to get rid of the nigga inside
it. Yeah.
Okay, so normally when we refer to niggas and we talking about being a nigga, we talking about being ignorant. If you actually know the meaning of ignorant means you don't have the knowledge. And that's literally where the issue is that we come from. We stuck on the victimhood, but we still lacking in knowledge of different things that would actually enhance our community if individuals in the community had the knowledge. That's what it literally comes down to.
What is the knowledge?
As far as like who we are, what it actually takes, like the actual issues that are going on in our community. What is the actual systematic racism going on? Who are the days that are in charge of it? What are the laws that are actually impacting us? We don't study none of that. We want to keep talking about the white person and how they to blame. And the typical white person ain't the person to blame.
I agree.
Can I ask you something? Because what you said, like you was like, even if black people did all the things like right, and then we would still be so. What you're saying is there's nothing black people can do in America to get ahead, and it's always going to be, and that's the issue that I have. Because normally you can ask them. Normally,
well, let me you asked me a question. Yeah. So Johnny, like what I'm saying is, ultimately, this ideal scenario where we're the perfect, all of us are perfect, it's still not going to fix anything because we didn't create this by ourselves. It would be no different than if you got in a car accident, your car's totaled, and imagine, like, hey, like, I didn't crash my car, but who did it? I don't know. You're at fault. Now you're at fault. We're not going to cover this. Now you have to get to work. You don't have a car no more. And that's the systemic problem that I'm talking about. If you do not fix a systemic issue that we're all facing, ultimately, here's a spoiler: money. But that's what's gonna fix everything.
How do you fix the systemic issue?
Hey, I got one more.
He got yelled in the mic.
I got one more.
But I agree with Alex.
You agree that money will solve the issue?
I always keep saying it.
Yes.
I literally keep, like last week I ended it on, but I don't think that it's money. It's not money inside.
Solve the issue.
Let me.
I reparations, but like.
I want to hear this because I want to understand.
No, because I talked about this. I talked about this last week. Like most issues, especially black people, we speak about ends up being socioeconomic. And when we think about money, typically we think about it inside a very ignorant way, where like you get money, and if you get money, niggas gonna like spend it frivolously. What we actually need is an intentional system of financial literacy within the black community. No, it's all money, and we all.
That's knowledge, though. That's still knowledge. That's education.
No. Like you can be the most financially literate motherfucker, but if you ain't got no fucking money, you don't make a difference either.
Well, if you're financially literate and you ain't got no money, you're not financially literate.
Do you want me to answer the question? I'll keep answering it because it's all things that compound. Because you can't make a bunch of money and be ignorant with it. That's why financial literacy is important. But at the same time, there is an educational standpoint that comes with it, where education and being in job fields in which there is a decent enough growth output to where like the community at large are able to be educated better, be in better standings, and go without all the things that socioeconomically, whether it's black, white, there's no racial to it, shows that you're going to be doing the lower hanging fruit. It just is what it is.
But okay, like, let me ask you this. So at the end of the day, that responsibility that you're talking about, is that, should we keep on blaming white people, or should we just should that be on us as black people?
Well, I don't.
That we're you tell me where you're gonna generate $1 trillion. And then that will fix
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about. I'm talking about He said education.
So all right. So
educating black people.
I'll answer your question. I think that if I had the choice of what could fix the problem as a black community, I would say that we need to intentionally invest inside STEM. And I think that STEM and high earning careers, in which every immigrant has did for the history of time, and which is why that typically immigrant populations as minorities, they tend to do better than black people, right? It's because that there's like a general investment in the idea of like the first group is going to be the working class, and then we're going to come in and make sure that our kids value education and they value the jobs that the career paths that they actually invest in. I think that there is a inequality of that within the black community.
Can I ask a question? Just based on
Are you asking a question?
Fuck it. I'm about to ask a question because I was asking.
All right, go ahead.
But like, so you agree that's possible, but you said if we do all of that, there's still going to not be anything we can do to catch white people in this country, even if we do all of that.
Fuck catching white people just to be.
Let's think about it. Like, don't even like. Let's take black people out of this. Let's look at what white folks had for them to put them where they are now. Because I think people think that white people are like these ubermenches where they just might their way to everything. That's not what happened. They had an entire government infrastructure to set them up to where they are. You ever heard of like Oklahoma Sooners? You know where that came from? They literally like, hey, bro, if you can get this flag, the
sooner you get to the land,
there you go.
The more land.
So
you
think all right? That's just Oklahoma. You imagine that times 100. We as black people, we are doing as well as we can, given the circumstances we're in. We didn't have no Oklahoma.
Are we doing as well as we can? We're not doing as well as we can.
Given the circumstances, we are doing as well as we can. Because listen. We didn't have no Oklahoma Sooners where, hey, bro, if you can go to that flag, this whole plot of land is yours.
You know what we had in Tulsa?
Listen.
We had in Oklahoma. We had Tulsa.
Hold on. When it was World War II and folks is coming back, like, bro, like, our vets are coming back and they looking all kind of effed up. Hey, bro, give them a house. Actually, let's make highways. Let's do this. Let's invest back into our country.
Well, no, it was definitely a lot of very beneficial loans that were given out.
I'm just saying.
Alex, hold on.
Alex,
I gotta respond to that.
Alex, we about to go.
My parents lived in a neighborhood that was black owned, and that they gave that land away, and to this day, it's all black owned. So
you are.
Hold on, we have to really put like a stop to the episode. We're past 3 hours. Let's read down the comments. We're not going to respond to the comments, and then we can continue this on another episode. This was actually like really fun. I enjoyed where we like because we didn't really get into like we didn't get through leaving the memes. We have a spirited panel.
So I'm gonna be there Wednesday.
God damn, let's wrap it. Yeah. We had a spirited panel, and it led to a really good conversation. Tone, let's run down these comments before we get about it.
Okay, some of them I did read, but I'm going back because it's certain ones I had to skip because I was reading them as they was coming.
Okay.
Even growing up as a ninja, when you become an adult and consider yourself a black man, the ninja is just dormant in you. Look at Will Smith. We already read this one.
Okay.
He heard your simple question as something completely different. Everyone can better themselves. There are things anyone can do to better their individual situations. I don't even know how we got here. Growing up a ninja, you have to be a professional hood actor. That's why there are so many rappers who act better than trained actors. Sorry, gotta go. Dinner's done. See you Wednesday.
Hey.
Yeah, she coming on Wednesday. Talk. Mama Sharon, she say, stop saying we don't know and start doing something to make things better. We as the people need to learn to do like the people who ran Black Wall Street. They kept their money in their neighborhood to help their own people. Speaking of Black Wall Street, y'all know that actually got rebuilt. Quick factor. I ain't gonna
I don't want to engage in it only because
anything.
Hey, hold on. I'm gonna tell everybody we appreciate y'all for tapping in. We got comments still rolling in. We appreciate everybody. Y'all hit the notification button. Leave some more comments below. Please follow us on all social media. That's at B2B Fair Show. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. I am your host, Johnny P.
Old head real.
it's Q, and we have special guests.
Alex.
Hey,
we out.
And it's Tone. No.
Yeah.
Hey, now that's